Get into this bad boy. Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. I hope you're ready for all your wonderful geek conversations right here, right now. We got big announcements from DC Comics. We've got more trouble in the MCU. It sounds like Diamond Comics have been screwing people over for years, and we're going to talk about all that. This week, Josh, I started watching Star Trek Voyager because I finally finished DS9. I'm only 4 issues in, and I'm thinking maybe not.
I haven't watched it, so...
Star Trek guy?
I'm not a Star Trek guy. I'm just playing catch up with so many other things that I missed that it's not high on my list.
My goodness,
sorry
you're
about
the
that.
only guy here that probably likes Star Trek. Well, Jim likes Star Wars. He doesn't.
Yes. I hate Star Trek.
It's a strong word, isn't it?
Well,
it is.
And I use it for that reason. I always feel dumb when I watch Star Trek. That's the problem. I feel like a really piece of crap, and I feel dumb. That basically is it.
You know, I started to make a joke that Star Trek is for a highbrow audience, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that to Jim. I really like Jim. And then you're like, I feel too dumb when I watch it.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Don't
worry.
So that's the reason why I think Star Trek is dumb.
Yeah.
You just haven't elevated yourself to its low, you know.
That's why Doc can't keep up with wrestling either.
Or manga.
I can. I can keep up with wrestling. I just don't like most of the current wrestlers.
There's a little bit of issues there. We got a great panel. We are waiting on the Fatal Diva himself, Fatal J. Hopefully he'll be showing up in the not too distant future. Last time I heard he was going to be here. But we do have returning because we're talking about Diamond. This is going to be fun. Yule Carter from Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. How you doing, Yule?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, Wes, for helping push me over the subscription mark, 1,000 subs on my Fantastic Comics channel. But even more, I want to thank you for having me on these shows, because I had a former customer of Fantastic Comics see me on this Aficionados episodes. And he came on in as a result, returning. So even better than all the subs, I have a new customer yet again.
Well, you got a new old customer. That's awesome. They saw you on the channel, like, oh yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah, it was like, he's like, oh, I should head on over there. So he hadn't been in since we moved stores, pre-pandemic, all that stuff. And it jogged his memory to come on over, and we had a good long conversation yesterday. He bought some comics, some of the recommendations that were on the channel, depending on what he watched. Got a Tokyo Ghost Volume 1.
That's awesome. I'm glad that I can help. And obviously, I'm very happy you made it to 1,000 subs. It's a big milestone.
Yeah, that's right. We're on our way to getting monetized.
Start paying for some of those comic books.
That's right.
Very nice. Who else we got? We got Jim from Weird Science. Jim, did you almost kill yourself this week?
No, I did not. I'm fine this week. Luckily, I end up not being recognized by anybody from being here because they'd probably punch me in the face. I'd be out and they'd slap me one. But no, I'm fine. Thanks for having me on. Excited. Big news this week.
What's the big news? Are you pregnant?
Well, I'm just saying what we're going to be talking about. The DC stuff. I always get fired up when there's the big news. No, I don't. Nothing goes on in my life. Really.
Listen, nobody would slap you for being on the channel. From what I've found out from behind the scenes, shockingly, a lot of people.
I didn't mean that it was you or anybody here that they'd just come up and slap me. And then I'd have a reason that would make it work better in my mind, except for me being bad. So I'd blame you, is what I'm saying.
All right. I just got a DM from Fatal J. He says he is coming when he's damn well ready. Basically what he said.
Hopefully he's eating that burrito already.
Yeah, he'll still show up eating food.
Yeah, he's like, I got to eat my first burrito, then I got to go take a deuce, and then I'll come on with my second burrito.
There needs to be a Ninja Blast feed bag or something created.
That would be good.
The burrito holster.
Absolutely. You like a little breakfast burrito that you zip open and you can put your pencils in and stuff. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like
pretty good merch. Josh, you're the big DC Comics aficionado. You're also the Hollywood insider now. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing all right, man. When you said we got big news at the top of the show, I started to be like, we got news.
It's supposed to be big news.
Hey, well, that's the key word, supposed to be. No, I'm doing pretty good. Other than the fact that for the past 2 to 3 days, I keep waking up and there's like a blanket of yellow all over everything because pollen is starting to hit really bad out here. So
You
I
seem like
figured-
one of those nerds that has like allergies.
Dude, you can't like this time of year, whether you have allergies or not. It's like you can't escape the sneezing because of how bad pollen is.
I lived in
It
Texas and I
sucks.
never had an issue.
Ooh, ugh, ugh.
I lived in England. The whole place was filled with all those things that come up for 2 weeks and never had an issue.
But you are right. You're very much spot on. I was definitely one of those nerds that had bad allergies. Not as bad as they used to be because I used to have to get shots for them. So,
Like your mom made you that thing where you stick it in there and you snuck it up your nose and stuff. Clear out your
no,
sinuses?
like shots,
Yeah.
shots. Once a
Oh,
week,
goodness.
shots. Boom. Go to the doctor.
Put
Get
Josh
a
in
shot.
bubble wrap and keep him safe.
Bubble boy.
Man, I got this shirt. Are you going to go see this Shazam movie?
At some point, I'm not gonna rush out to see it, but
Really, I heard it looks awesome, and I've heard the feedback is actually good, unlike a Marvel movie we're going to talk about.
hey, you know what? If we're being honest, my favorite DC project has been the first Shazam movie. I think it's got
That's
some
great.
darkness, some great humor, some great family aspects. It was a really well balanced film, really well paced film. So
Yeah, I was actually able to watch it with my kid, and he watched it all the way through and wasn't bored.
yeah, it hit like multiple audiences, and unfortunately, too many people didn't see it because they thought it was going to be too hokey, and it's kind of hokey, but it's hokey in a cute way.
Yeah, comic books are supposed to be. Fatal J says hitting the link now. 2 minutes ago, still not here. Not
Shame.
surprising. Jim, I forgot. I wanted to ask you. Did you read Avengers 66 this week?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It was boring as all hell. I mean, there's
Despite
so many
every
things
single
thrown
page
in.
being action.
That's the problem. I don't understand the calculations that ended up in that book because every page has something going on, and yet I was bored out of my mind. Jason Aaron is very good at that.
Oh, so
Don't
bad.
worry.
Doc and I actually reviewed that. It'll be
Yeah,
on Monday.
yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We will explain to
Yeah.
you why it was boring.
The Fatal
I-
Diva is here, huh?
There he is.
Lord have mercy.
Oh.
And just like that, we lost all credibility right there.
Yeah.
Boom, gone out the window.
What you been up to, Fatal J? Sound like you were sick for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm still sick, man. I just woke
I've
up
been
in
sick
my
for
own.
5 weeks, and I'm still doing the show.
Hey, I just woke up in my own juices and realized I was
Whoa!
running a little late. So
We don't need to know about that. This is a
The yellow
this is
blanket that
this is-
Josh was
This is a
talking
I was
family
about to
channel.
say, you wet the bed still?
I don't think that's what he meant.
hey, don't tell nobody about your secrets, man. Don't tell nobody about mine either. Okay? Thank you so much.
So we do have a Fatal J friendly show here. We're going to talk about some movies and TMNT. So there won't be wall-to-wall comic book talk, so you won't sound like a complete moron the whole time, Fatal J.
Well, just to think about it, I don't feel like a complete moron because the comic books suck. All you guys pretty much gonna say throughout the whole show is what? These comic books suck. So why should I read them? That's
Flash
why I
is
read.
good. Of course, it's getting canceled, but
I have read The Flash. Now, The Flash is good. Now, you're talking about the movie type Flash comic, right?
no, I'm
No,
talking about
you're-
the Flash
I know what
with
you're
Jeremy
talking about.
Adams.
Okay, the one that's like kind of produced by Tom McFarlane, that's pretty good. I like that one. Never mind, he's doing the toys. I know you all I know
What
that's
the
the
fuck are you
What
talking
happened?
about?
There was a 3-issue miniseries of The Flash that came out
Boom.
at the end of last year, and
You
it
talking
was
about the
movie
fastest
tied
man
in.
alive with
That was
Jay
the
Porter?
Kenny Porter one, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't Todd McFarlane. I don't know what the hell he's talking
He
about.
No,
messed up. He already
he-
corrected himself.
Tom McFarlane did the toys
Yes, he
today.
did.
That's what I meant to say, okay? Jeez, man.
Are you
Oh,
sure the
okay.
toys were based off the movie?
I don't know if they were based off the movie or what,
I
but
bet
know
you they were
Tom
based off the
McFarlane-
movie.
I know Tom McFarlane did the toys based off the comic or the movie or whatever. I don't care. Jeez.
Well,
There
Man,
you
man,
go.
y'all come with the darts when I come on the show.
That's what happens when you show up late.
Yeah. You want to be the Fatal Diva? We'll treat you like the Fatal Diva.
I'm gonna treat y'all like Black Adam. Y'all better leave me alone if I
Man,
hit
I
you
got
with a
the
lightning
Shazam
bolt.
family. Right
So-
here, baby.
Oh my god!
Wait,
it's a
wait, hold
lord.
on. So you're gonna treat us like Black Adam? You're gonna show up in the movie theaters and then vanish,
Yes.
Pretty much.
and no one will ever talk about you again? That
And then
seems. I don't think that's really a threat to us.
Wait, you're gonna
sir.
ruin The Rock?
Doc, I'm gonna walk through your door without opening the door like Black Adam did. Did you watch the movie?
No, neither did anybody else. That's the reason why it already is out of the theaters.
I didn't
It
get
was-
all the way through it.
It was quite good. It was quite good.
There's a lot of action, but I hadn't seen it all the time.
Yeah,
Doc, you're
you're
last
not
but not
missing.
least. How you doing, Doc? I made you read a really bad comic book this week.
You did, and I kind of sort of hated you for it, but I've already forgiven you because I love you and all.
It's a smile.
I know. I'm here with the positivity today.
You're the positivity. You're going to take the Eric O'Sullivan spot.
Yeah, that's totally me. Everybody can see it, right? Y'all can see it.
Yeah, I see it.
Big smile.
Doc and
Yep.
Sully. Very nice.
Yep. That's totally what I'm doing today.
Doc
So you
being
like Steve,
positive.
too.
Doc being positive, you pretty much gonna hear an explosion 10 minutes later. It's impossible. His body will explode for being positive. It's just
Oh no.
way-
See here, everything is so fucking awful that me not discussing exactly how terrible it is me being positive.
There you go. We do have
I hear what you're
some
saying.
super chats. Let's hear what the people have to say before we get started. Gallup says, can we have Aaron Sparrow versus Josh debate on Wakanda Birth of a Nation?
Is Birth of a Nation a book?
I'm
It's-
assuming that's Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, Birth of a Nation is something very different.
Yeah, it is very, very different.
Very different.
There's two different versions of that movie. I think one of them came out a few years ago, but I don't know if Josh wants to debate Aaron Sparrow about Wakanda Forever.
Maybe it's a compare and contrast. Wakanda.
Maybe if you start your
and
new
then Birth of
YouTube
a
channel, that
Nation.
can be your first video, Josh.
There we go. Why not? We'll go for it.
Aaron would love to do that.
Oh, so
I
you can
watched it. I
lull
wasn't
them-
impressed, but hey, to each their own, right?
You can lull all the MCU shills into a false sense of security and then destroy them. Good job. It's smart.
Wayne,
Brilliant.
this next week, Doc meets his hero Chris Cantwell.
Oh, fucking that stupid Hellcat that comes out next week.
Oh my god.
All right, I hate you all already.
Listen, Christopher Cantwell's Doctor Doom was okay. There's a chance that the first issue wasn't terrible.
No, it's not. There's not a chance.
I thought you were being positive.
Yes, that is a positive. There's
Could be
no
a
chance.
chance.
Yeah,
He's positive it'll suck.
I am absolutely positive that there is no chance it can be good.
Galvin says disappointed about Ray's new mantle, Thunderheart. I was hoping her new name would be Swift. It goes with Surge. Swift and Surge, the Stampede Twins. Irie's new mantle, Thunderheart. He's talking about Flash. I was like,
Yeah.
I thought there was a Ray in there or something.
Every time they talk about Swift, I think of the chick from
Authority.
it's like the Hawkgirl chick from the Authority. So
Yeah.
I think of Taylor.
Thunderheart's a weird name for a
Think of
speed-related
Pokemon.
hero, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Quick Thunder. A little quick in there? I guess you already have Jesse Quick. You can't really
Well,
do it,
yeah.
but-
I guess it's they're deciding that Lightning Heart probably wouldn't work, and it's also just a derivative of Iron Heart anyway.
it just kind of, doesn't it?
That's
Yeah.
what it makes you think of. It's bad.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw that too. Yeah. And
Either-
also,
Either way, it's just derivative because they took the same fucking plot and the same, plot direction with this character. And so, hey, you know what? Fuck it. We stole everything else. Steal the name too.
Yeah. My first thought of seeing that name was how long before they start calling her Thunder Fart.
it's already happened.
I already did it before he even said the word.
See?
Calvin
First
says,
ever
how
appearance.
many of you saw that boring, insufferable, empowered trailer? Angela Bassett spoke like a revisionist, and that Monica Rambeau kept ranting about walls. No idea what he's talking about.
I know what he's talking about, and I didn't watch it. I saw it flash up on
I know
Disney Plus.
exactly what he's talking
Yeah,
There
the
was,
Disney Plus women's thing.
yeah, it
Oh,
was.
no.
Think about women of Marvel, except for you stuck in a bunch of insufferable Hollywood actresses instead of insufferable, talentless comic pros.
So it's like a video version of Marvel Voices or something like that.
No, it's their YouTube
anything.
channel, but with actual actresses instead of talentless hacks that shouldn't be in the industry.
No
Or
idea.
Soon to be comic writers.
Positivity.
Definitely not going to watch that. That sounds like a bore fest.
It's cheesy.
Christopher says, so Zeb continues the marriage obstacles and garbage story on top of One More Day. Just let NJ rest in peace with witless Peter killing two amazing lover. I give up. I thought people liked ASM 20 or 21.
I don't know if people liked it, but it was It was the beginning of finding out what happened, so like that could rankle people. I could see.
Did it bother
right off
you,
the
Chip?
bat.
Didn't you like it?
I didn't love it. It's calling back, like you're waiting this
It
long
was
for
Gabe,
something.
wasn't
and-
it Gabe that said he liked it?
Yeah, Gabe. You know,
What happened to Gabe? He like Predator
Gabe's
number one
sus.
again.
I know. It's like every Predator #1 comes out and that guy loses it. I don't understand. But yeah, a call back to something from 18 years ago. It just felt like a whole, he's just jerking himself off or something. I don't know. It just ended up annoying me. But we'll see. We still have to wait to
Tevye
see
is the
what the
most
full reveal
optimistic
is.
viewer of the channel, and he says he's done with ASF.
Yeah.
I quit reading after.
You can't quit now. I mean, you got to at
35
least wait
years?
till the 25th issue. I mean, geez, you've gone this far. You might as well do it.
Listen, if
issue.
Ross
Yeah.
told
More
me
issues.
anything, it's cut your losses once you realize it's going off the tracks because the answer will never be good enough.
You never
Yeah.
know. And not only that, maybe somebody gets introduced or something happens that makes it a $40 comic book tomorrow. So it's got a better chance than the others.
It's not happening.
Nah, I think I'll just pass. And this whole era.
I'm not talking to the biggest ASM guy right now.
No. It is
Good
funny, though, because this whole idea of waiting this long, I actually forgot that Nick Spencer had that Kindred stuff going for like 5 times as long, but yet Marvel didn't even learn their lesson there, that he kept hinting at things, and it just ends up at now, does anybody really care? I mean,
Well,
I
that
don't
was
think
like
they do.
60 issues, right?
Yeah,
Or
no,
something
that
like
Kindred just went on forever.
Plus, there was a
Just
mini
disappeared.
series also, I think.
Exactly.
How-
So-
However, at least with Kindred and Nick Spencer, they actually would continue to remind you of it and hint at it and kind of
Yeah.
tease you with it. Instead, Zeb Wells' idea is introduce it in the first issue, ignore it for 20 issues, and then come back to it.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what he did. And you know why we don't give a shit? Because it's been 20 issues since you fucking mentioned it.
Even
Wait,
the little,
Trevor.
even like the side hints, just as it felt like they were like laughing at you and shoving it in your face as well. So
Wayne says, I did not read it yet, but it feels like this 6-part Spider-Man story is one that only really needs 3 or 4 issues, but has been dragged out, it seems. Well, that's Marvel
like
Comics.
the entirety of this thing.
That's the entirety of Marvel Comics at this point. What 3 issue and 4 issues?
because
No,
they
3
got
and 4.
to it in Fantastic Four. They did the 3 one-shot stories featuring the different characters,
Mhm.
and then at least they told you what happened in the 4th issue and addressed it.
You're
Yeah,
enjoying
I mean,
Fantastic
bravo.
Four from Ryan North?
Yeah, I mean,
You
I'm not. It's not a quality. I'm just saying this is fact. That's what happened.
okay. I mean, you couldn't put you could put a gun to my head, and I wouldn't read him. I'd tell you to pull the trigger rather than read the Ryan North comic.
You're crazy. No.
No, I'm very, very serious. But yeah, Wes.
I bet
By
I
the
could
way,
force you to do a Ryan North comic if I had a gun.
I will actually just say no to that one. I have never said no to a single fucking comic you've told me to read. A Ryan North comic, I will say no.
Oh, we can get you on it.
Well, but I wouldn't have a gun in my hand. If I had a gun, you'd have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you had a gun, I'd tell you to pull the trigger and you best not miss.
Man, this is so depressing.
Yeah,
Ryan North sucks. The end. This is me being again. I told you I was going to be positive. I'm just going to be 100% positive today. I am always right.
James Hannafin says, I think the slow output of Dawn of DCU titles is a cash grab of #1 titles to pad the sales numbers for the year.
That's what they always do.
I don't think it's going to work.
I actually think you're giving DC too much credit. I think that some of this stuff is
Bad
just finding
planning.
people on the fly in bed planning. I really do.
Maybe they're letting them get ahead of the game, before they put those books out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there could be that too.
Yeah, I think they're just doing everything on the fly. Caleb says, last week Gabe perfectly described Megan Fitzmartin because after that video you did, Wes, I reread the interview and I would never
Get it
trust
together.
you looking after my dogs.
Oh, wait, what happened in that? I don't remember what Gabe said about Fitzmartin.
Gabe talks a lot. It's hard to
I
remember.
think he
Oh.
said he liked Predator.
He likes Predator.
I
If Megan Fitzmartin was on Predator, it would be okay.
I feel like this is Callum Lyle going with the white girls and dogs joke.
I wouldn't let her trust. I wouldn't want her to walk away.
I
Did you see
wouldn't
that
trust her
line in
to
that
walk.
interview where she said, "I love and respect Chip Zdarsky with every like fiber of my being" or something? I
Oh
was
my.
like, not even an AI would try to speak like that. Like if it did, you would know that the AI was wrong. You needed to fix it because that's not how humans talk about each other.
I bet Chip
like,
likes that though. He
Oh,
really, I mean that was a
that bitch
pretty
is
good
an
thing to hear.
alien. That explains it.
Predator.
This reminded me of like you know that when your nice naive grandma goes to church and then she befriends somebody that is just like so fake friendly it's not
Yeah.
even funny. That's what that interview.
That's my
reminded me of.
wife.
Talking about Los Angeles.
That's what you're.
Yes.
Jim, you
My
can't say
wife-
that on air.
Well, I just did. She's in the other room too. She'll kill me. Now, you asked me if I almost died this week.
Well, I
I've now
hope she don't
set it
watch
up.
the show.
Yeah, she's that old lady
She
at
probably
the
doesn't watch
church.
the
I'm
show, she
telling
probably
you.
hears it.
Hold on.
Yeah, she hears it.
Josh perfectly described Los Angeles. Every woman in Los Angeles. That's
Yeah, not even women. There's men that way too.
Oh, yeah.
Wes described it, and I said, "You mean Los Angeles?" Also, I'm just waiting to hear like the loud, screeching, dulcet screams of Jim as his wife starts having in a
Yes.
second.
You'll think it's my wife screaming.
You're gonna hear
How-
the frying pan
Wait.
first, and then you'll hear the choking sounds.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You'll
I'm
hear
done.
a loud semi-metallic thunk with that little bit of echo, and then it'll just go quiet on
Fade to
Jen's
black.
side. Yeah.
Fatal J cries. I can see it happening. Wayne Tech dead. Wanted to support the show even though I'm not reading new comics. I love DC, and I subsist on back issues. I will not pick up the new stuff until there's a mass culling. Well, I do appreciate you supporting the channel, and I know exactly how you feel. I don't really watch wrestling anymore, but I watch some podcasts and do all that. And,
Oh, wrestling
you know,
don't win. Yeah, it ain't the same, man.
but I do pay attention because I'm still interested in it, but I don't waste my time actually watching it. I just listen to the recaps.
The
and
last
stuff.
time I truly watched wrestling is when the guy picked up the 18-wheeler truck and flipped it over.
Oh, Braun
Mm-hmm.
Strowman.
You forgot?
Oh, when he was doing his feats of strength for 6
Yeah.
months,
Yeah.
people liked it. He would like dump the jumbotron on
And
people.
I don't care what nobody say, that was real.
That was. It really happened. I
It
saw
did.
it.
We flipped the
I did
ambulance
see it.
over too by itself.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
real.
Yeah.
That was real.
You
Uh,
was real to me, damn it.
If you like DC and you don't read that first issue of Superman, you're missing out.
Now, which one, Jonathan Kent or Clark Kent?
The new one that
Clark.
Joshua Williamson wrote and Dude Drew.
Well, he wants a mass culling. He wants a big time change, and
Well,
there's going to be some series
never
here and
gonna
there that
always
are worth
get that.
reading, like World's Finest. I think Shazam will be worth reading.
Shazam.
Hopefully, Batman gets back on track. It sounds like Superman's on a decent upward trajectory. Maybe Green Lantern will be good, but
I've been
And-
reading that Mark Silvestri Batman. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
there's
good.
And with
No,
Joshua
it's not.
Williamson,
stuff.
with the
not good.
Superman Joshua Williamson, now I'm actually looking forward a lot to the Green Arrow book that he's
Yeah.
doing as well.
Yeah.
So,
the thing that's throwing me up about the Mark Silvestri Batman, that style. Can he ink that?
You can't take the masculinity of his line work.
No, man.
Could you get a little cleaner and make everything just a
They
little
need to
bit
do that
cleaner?
in black and white. That
Yeah.
will be a good book.
I would have took
Is-
black and white instead of that coloring non-inking style. That's like he colored over the pencils. Am
Well,
I
that's
right
how
or
they
wrong?
do these days.
Well, in fairness, he doesn't have Dan Green anymore.
Ooh, listen to you. Yeah, or Scott Williams.
Scott,
Yeah, Scott Williams.
Scott Williams was amazing.
Well, yeah, whenever it was Homage Studios with Scott Williams, Jim
Heck
Lee,
yeah.
Mark Silvestri,
Heck
Willis
yeah.
Portasio,
Yeah.
and
All right,
Ebert.
fellas.
Yeah.
We can
Sorry.
reminisce about the good
Sorry.
old times
Sorry about that.
for
Sorry
hours
about that.
upon hours, but we do need to talk about some of the current events going on right now. And we had some new Dawn of DCU titles. I'm calling it the Yawn of DCU. It's a slow roll, and most of the time, I don't think a lot of people are happy with everything. Josh, you are the DC aficionado. What did you think was the biggest book? Was it Jadzia Axelrod on Hawkgirl? Is it Tom King on Wonder Woman? Is it Jeremy Adams being booted off the Flash for Cy Spurrier?
So I'll just be honest with you. The way that I found out about these titles getting released was with a phone call with Joe Corallo, and he was telling me these announcements, and because he was at Emerald City Comic Con, so I called just to see how he was doing there, and he started giving me this info. And quote, I said, damn it, Joe, why do you have to ruin my night? So that should give you an idea of what I thought about these. First off, let's just start with Tom King, all right? Because I think that's what everyone wants to talk about the most is Tom King. That's going to get the most conversation going. Tom King writing Wonder Woman is already a why. And then you look at what the synopsis of the story is supposed to be. And I couldn't help but wonder, like, was this a
The
pitch
Amazonian
that he had?
Registration Act.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, like clearly they're playing into the whole Muslim ban we had. Like, all right, whatever. It was like 7 years ago.
Mhm.
So clearly this is like straight up like a pitch that he had for Rebirth, right? Like it has to be, right? And then DC was like, oh shit, Clunrad's not really working out. Wonder Woman's in the pits. Like the books aren't selling, the trades aren't selling, nothing's working. Hey, Tom King had a pitch almost a decade ago. Let's run with it. He might actually sell some books, or at least more books than Clunrad's selling.
Well, certainly the sales will go up, no doubt about it.
Oh, for sure. But it's like, you know,
at what cost?
You know,
yeah, like you're taking a dead body and a body that's on life support. You know, that's where we're going.
Well, there's the idea that this could have some interesting ideas. For instance, Wonder Woman by the end of it's going to become a cutter. And
maybe her sidekick character will be instead.
Yeah. We got to figure out how to get his, or maybe he gets to do something he's never done yet and actually write the mommy wife character instead of just the simpy husband.
Wonder Mommy instead.
Well, Steve Trevor will definitely be the simpy husband.
Yeah. Oh, he's dead. They're gonna kill him.
They'll bring back his lifeless corpse just to trample all over it.
Or maybe Wonder Woman spends every issue trying to figure out a new way to unalive herself because midlife crisis or something.
I think that you're missing out on the big one is that Wonder Woman is so good with the daddy issues. You could just throw that in and he'll go to town with that.
Maybe she starts like an OnlyFans account or something.
Oh,
I'll subscribe.
To support herself once she's cut off from America. Let's start an OnlyFans.
Yeah, the thing about her being cut off from America, she was like living in Paris when it was the New 52. Mm-hmm. She wasn't in America. She was doing anything to not be in America pretty much. And
that's
so what? This isn't new. This isn't a thing. Yeah.
She turns all of Themyscira into a giant OnlyFans studio.
Ooh,
like one of those like Andrew Tate factory cam girl. Right? Yeah, one of those like factory cam girl things. Yeah.
No.
Where everybody's in like the little like fake rooms in a warehouse.
But see, now Tom King needs to come up with like something that reminds you of OnlyFans, but he has to call it something else so that they don't get sued or anything like that. Only Amazons.
Yeah. And it gets delivered in 2 days.
Failed Jay's just hoping there's a movie adaptation of this.
Axel Braun's already working on it.
Jim, you're a big DC fan. What do you think about Tom King on Wonder Woman? Like I said, at least it means they want more sales on the title.
Yeah, I ended up saying that I wouldn't.
Great artist.
Yeah, I said I wouldn't trust DC going forward until they got Clunrad's off of Wonder Woman, and now it's like a be careful what you wish for deal. But when you go into this, the thing is, Tom King, we all know his shtick, and it works as an Elseworlds deal so that he doesn't end up ruining a character. You end up having people being able to say, well, don't worry about it. It's Elseworlds. I'm scared of him doing an in-continuity book. And at this point, I had a bunch of people say the idea that, oh, we need somebody to come in and, mess up the things in a bull in a china shop type of deal with Wonder Woman. I think the exact opposite. At this point with Dawn of DC, you need somebody to come in and establish the character because it's been a mess. I mean, not just Clunrad. We have gone through many, many creative changes on that book. Nobody seems to be able to get an idea of what to do with Wonder Woman, and we need a solid base and somebody who's going to respect Wonder Woman and respect the fans and go forward with a blueprint of how to write and use the character. And Tom King, whether you love him or not, he's not that type of writer. He's not the type of writer that you want to have establish a continuity for a character. He usually comes in to ruin that. And when he is on a book, when he leaves, he usually leaves the character in the book in a bit of a mess. I even thought the other day, it's almost like when the Olympics come into a city and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be great. We're going to get everybody here. And then once that ends, you're kind of left in ruin and you have to pick up the pieces. And I think that's what's going to happen after this. And I'm just worried about him, like I said, establishing something. It's not a reboot, but it is the Dawn of DC. And a lot of times, you know, you'll have his fans come into the book, and then when he leaves, they're not fans of the characters. I don't think Tom King has ever written a book that made anybody a fan of the character that he's writing. They become fans of him and his stories, and it really scares me. It's the idea of he can write a good book, but he does, like, if he writes a good Wonder Woman book, but it won't be a good Wonder Woman book. It'll be the story that people, this is the greatest thing. Yeah, I've never seen this story. But you never see somebody say, like, oh my God, that's a great that character book. He's not a character.
That sounds like
guy.
He sucks. Now
Well,
let me ask a question real quick, real fast. It's a stupid one, so get ready. Is Tom King now? Because I'm not really a fan of the new writers. I'm a Warren Ellis, Frank Miller, Scott Lydell, all them type of dudes. This Tom King guy, is he the same equivalence of a Donny Cates at Marvel?
No. I like Donny Cates more, but Donny Cates changes backs.
Because I keep hearing Tom King.
He'll be put on. He's put on titles at DC, not unlike Donny Cates is put on over at Marvel. Yeah.
I would say he's, and I don't mean this in quality. I mean, in everything he writes is the exact same with a different character. He writes the exact same plots the same way that Chuck Austin does.
Yeah,
he has an obsession with a certain plot, and he just figures out a way to twist a character into that plot on every title he writes. He only writes one plot, but it's the same on every book, and it's depressed middle-aged man.
Yeah, he gets a round character and shoves it into a square story. He does it all the time, and everything seems like it's something like even Wes and the idea that it's something, or actually Josh said it. Sorry, the idea of something that was probably a story 8 years ago, and then he doesn't, and most of the time that I hear stuff with him, he doesn't go to DC and say, hey, I really have an idea for Wonder Woman. They assign a book with him because they know exactly what he's going to do with it anyway, because he writes one kind of story. So they say, okay, we want Wonder Woman to be like this. You do that, off he goes, just like the Supergirl. And this is definitely tied into that Supergirl hype from the movies, and it's just you don't need a blueprint from Tom King. I said,
why does Wonder Woman though always need to be shaken up? Okay,
I don't know. That's
because nobody has been able to get it right since George Perez.
What up, John 3PO?
When JMS took over, she had amnesia and long pants. When Azzarello, which was critically acclaimed and fans liked it, he had to come in and just change her history so that she was, Zeus was her father and all that other stuff. Now we get this stuff that's going to be happening, and I'm sure there's other ones that I can't think of that have happened. But I mean, why didn't they go with the Wonder Woman with the same concept as we're hearing, like Jim is saying, we need someone to revitalize, reinvigorate, maybe just grow the character more than tear it down or put her in such a state of turmoil that we care about what's going on. Just make Wonder Woman likable and put a good superhero story together, and maybe people will dig it.
I think a lot of the problem with Wonder Woman comes from a couple of things. One, they can't decide how she exactly fits into the DCU. The whole gods, mythic, magic island thing, it sort of fits the DCU, but it still feels really disconnected. Second, nobody knows what she is. Like they cannot settle on a actual origin, history, timeline, chronology for her. And I think thirdly is that she doesn't have any villains. Her rogues gallery fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, her biggest, her arch nemesis is a chick that's basically a Tigra knockoff.
And they also are right now including her on the side of the good guys, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
I would think
but
Tigra's
you know
the
what?
ripoff.
She could have dope. She could have dope villains though, like other gods.
No,
I don't know
the
why they
problem
haven't
is-
thought
Well,
about
they
that.
do,
They've
but
done-
it's always
they've done it.
other gods.
It's
you know?
it's Ares. And they're generic as fuck because we've seen Ares as the villain or whatever god they want to use. They can't use gods as her arch nemesis because we've seen 4 billion incarnations of the exact same gods throughout all of literature. So you need something unique.
Yeah, I agree.
Apocalypse is a unique villain for the X-Men. Magneto is a unique villain. Ares is just this generic, this version of generic god number 3.
I think it's because writers, when they come in, they struggle to just write Wonder Woman. They struggle to get what Wonder Woman's about, so they take all that time, and then at the end, just throw Ares in. Oh, Dr. Psycho. Oh, my God, Dr. You just end up going generic on because they struggle so much with getting that play. Like you said, Brian Azzarello's run, which some people hate now, but it was really good. And it ended up developing a lot of different characters, and the villains became villains. It was more of a soap opera type of deal, but it was really good because everybody was so well developed. Now they struggle so much. Right now, the whole deal is, oh my God, I'm the truth, and then you just go generic all the time. It's pitiful how
She can't be
little
the
they
truth
know.
because I'm the truth.
Our truth. I always want. But you
I
end
never
up with
thought
all
about
this
that
stuff.
though. Her rogue gallery does suck though, because you can't think of that number one villain for her.
Wow.
You can't think of one.
It's
It's
Cheetah.
Ares or Cheetah, and then once you get outside of that, you've got Maxwell Lord,
Maxwell
which is more
Lord.
recent.
or
Yeah.
some
seriously.
lady on Amazon.
And
or
Maxwell
on
Lord
the
gets
island.
thrown in, because of the neck snap and stuff like just
But here's the thing. Look at all 3 of those characters. Maxwell Lord.
They
What
suck.
is unique about him? Generic businessman, generic evil businessman. He's dollar store Lex Luthor. Cheetah.
Well, I think a
Generic-
dollar store.
Yeah,
Lex Luthor, she's the kind of character that
generic
needs a
cat
kingpin,
girl.
You know,
Generic
does
cat
suck.
girl.
Cheetah sucks.
Ares, generic war villain.
I agree.
Like God of War villain. You've seen all of these things. There is not a single uniquely designed, uniquely named, not connected to any sort of existing mythology villain that she
Maybe it
has.
could have
that
been a
is
good
central.
villain, but they had to make her good.
Yeah.
When she wanted to become Wonder Woman, she thought it was her mantle.
Yes, they could have made her the anti-Wonder Woman.
They should have made the red-haired chick her villain too. The Amazonian chick that's in the other team. What's her name? In the team with Red Hood and
Jessica
Art-
Rabbit.
Artemis.
Artemis.
Bizarro.
Yeah,
What's the
Artemis
chick name?
has been a bit.
Artemis. They should
But
make
she's an
Artemis
off again
Yeah.
villain hero too, and that's like her entire cast of characters basically.
It
Sometimes
is.
she works with them, sometimes she's against them, but she's trying to save them all the time.
And that's the problem too right now, and I think Tom King will go against that, is that Wonder Woman can't ever do anything even a little bit gray area anymore. It's always just there as, here I am, I'm going to save you. It doesn't matter if you're good, bad, or different. It gets
Somebody
annoying.
put Jessica Rabbit.
But
So,
I gotta say, I'm looking forward to this a lot more than I am that Flash though.
The
I'll
Flash
give
is
you
the
that.
one I don't understand at
Besides
all.
Spurrier, I mean,
He's
at
not a
first I'm like,
name.
Diodato on art is interesting. Not that I'm like the biggest fan of his, but him going and doing a monthly again is interesting. But it's Cy Spurrier. He's such a bore.
So I can understand Tom King on Wonder Woman. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's going to increase sales. It's going to increase visibility of the character. At least they put somebody that has a history of success, whether you like him or not, on the character. But removing Jeremy Adams, who's getting really good word of mouth, the sales are actually climbing right now, and people are more interested in Wally West as the Flash now than when he started, which is a good trend. To remove him for a writer that doesn't really have a bigger profile, I'm sure he has a larger bibliography of work, but he's not really a high-profile writer, so you're not going to get a spike in sales. And then people like this direction where you have this family-oriented Wally West, and it's kind of wholesome, to go do a cosmic horror version of Flash. It feels like it just came out of nowhere, Yule.
Yeah, it totally does. And not only that, you can see on Twitter, he's not super crying, but Jeremy Adams is upset that he's leaving Flash. He feels like he's done something there. He's gotten to enjoy the characters even more than he already did. And it's sad. This is almost the equivalent. If there were more people reading comics and definitely reading Flash, this feels like when Mark Waid and Ringo were kicked off Fantastic Four for somebody that nobody knew. Akasa, I can't remember his beginning name. Anyway.
Juan.
Yeah, thank you. Steve McNiven was going to be on art, and it's like, oh, this is an interesting idea that you do this, but you're taking off the people that are reading this really love it. Again, word of mouth, people are purchasing it, more people are purchasing it, it's building up, and then you take them off and you screw everything up. And I think it really kind of was like a second act that didn't really play out quite as well as it did in the first half. And it's probably going to be the same way as far as this Flash is concerned, because other than a number one, maybe you're going to do something that will be Immortal Hulk-like, where it's going to get, I could see they're going to do something real crazy. They're going to all the first appearances of characters and do all this stuff and maybe try and make people care. But ultimately, I don't think they will when it comes to the Flash and Cy Spurrier.
No,
Maybe
it's
the
Cy
art.
Spurrier. He writes mumbly, jumbly, gobbledygook. You never understand where he's going, Doc.
Absolutely. He is dollar store, like Family Dollar Grant Morrison. At Grant's most completely indecipherable gibberish bullshit, so far up his own ass. He is what a moron thinks a smart person sounds like.
So you're saying you like him?
I can't fucking
Pretty excited about
stand
the title.
Cy Spurrier. He has done one thing that was even remotely coherent. And that was the 6 issues he did of Way of X. And then as soon as he did the follow-up to that, Legion of X, it got back to indecipherable gibberish that doesn't really matter. And you can't even tell what the fuck's going on 99% of the time because he doesn't seem to have any sort of coherent plot. He thinks he's so fucking highbrow that he's he's fucking retarded.
Jeez, Doc. That's how you really feel. Jim.
I thought Doc was supposed to be positive this morning.
I am
He's
positive.
pretty positive how he
I am
feels
positively
about,
fucking
Cy
right.
Spurrier. So, Jim,
Yes.
you've been
Somebody's
you're a
cell
big
phone too
DC
close to the
fan.
microphone.
Oh,
I know that you've been loving this Jeremy Adams Flash. It almost
Yep.
feels like a eulogy is going on right now with issue 800.
yeah.
That should be
yeah.
a celebration.
It should be a celebration. And talking about the idea that Jeremy Adams seems sad on Twitter, he is. I actually talked to him last night, and I'm saying this. This is not any sort of name drop. Look at me. Anybody can message him, to get to know. He's a really nice guy. He'll talk to anybody. And the thing is, he is sad about it because he had
Tell
so
him to stop
much
talking to strangers. Okay.
stories to go. Well, I do say if they offer candy to run away, but still, give the candy to me. You end up where he is frustrated, though. He's frustrated with how all this went down. And it is because of poor sales. And one thing I do like about Jeremy Adams is he's not mad about that. He's very appreciative that people have gotten on board with his book. It might have been a little too late. So first off, if you do like Jeremy Adams on The Flash, we should all support the Green Lantern book coming up. But the play of this is, if it's sales, why Cy Spurrier? And the thing is, I
Exactly.
got kind of little hints that, remember we said that it looked like Tom Taylor was going to take over Flash. Well, then he got Titans, things switched around. And by then, it seemed like DC had already decided, well, Jeremy Adams is off the book and didn't want to double back and say, well, we'll keep it. So they ended up that seems to be why you get Cy Spurrier, because it doesn't make any sense. The only sense it makes is you have a horror story coming out of that Night Terrors that's going to be, in the spookiest months of the year, July and August. And then you go forward with that. I really think that the Cy Spurrier thing is a limited type deal. They're not going to tell you that because they want it to sell. But can anybody here think of a cosmic horror Flash story lasting 100 issues? A run by Spurrier? There's no way.
I'm sorry,
right?
you jumped a little too far. Can anybody think of a Spurrier comic selling?
No, I think it'll be 2 trades, and then I think they'll say, well, that was this contained story, and we'll move on with it. It also feels like this Spurrier deal was kind of like planted in with the Tom Taylor thing, or Tom King, is going to get the big play. Oh, my God, Tom King on Wonder Woman. And then, by the way, Spurrier will be on Flash, and it looks wacky, and we'll go. And I'm with Doc that the old dime store deal, dollar store, Grant Morrison, and I think the fans of Spurrier are even worse because it's one of those things like a Grant Morrison. If something sucks, you're just told you don't understand it, that you're dumb. And I can't stand that, so I don't like Star Trek, as I said earlier. And it's just nonsense.
Yep, that they Spurrier fans are they are the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst. But people will point out the idea of that John Constantine Hellblazer being a really good book. I actually thought it was as well, but 1 out of every 20, and that doesn't work.
Out? It's a new John.
This is from before. Before.
It was a Black Label. I heard good things about it too. I haven't read it yet.
It's good.
It's on my pile, but
he managed to get an X-Men ongoing that actually had X-Men in the title canceled at a time when you couldn't get an X-Men book canceled.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's a unicorn. He can do the impossible.
And then I think we had the third book was Hawkwoman, right?
Hawkwoman from
Hawkgirl.
Jadzia Axelrod, apparently another Star Trek fan. I don't understand why Hawkgirl would ever solo a series. Who cares about Kendra? Everyone likes Shiara and Hawkman together. Like, this thing will not last more than 6 issues. There's no way.
Yeah, no,
man,
agreed.
we need a dope Wonder Woman comic book, man. It's been a long time.
What are you backtracking for?
Look, yeah, I'm about to say we care so much that we went right back to Wonder Woman. That's how much we
I
care.
don't blame him, but
I don't either.
Hawkgirl Kendra goes to Metropolis to discover herself, like Sex in the City. Like, that's not a comic book. That's
probably the
parody.
pitch. Like,
wow, that's
honestly,
crazy.
now that you mention it, that was probably the pitch, which
It
just
is
makes
the
me
pitch.
cringe. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, that's
Christ.
not a comic book pitch. That's a parody of a comic book that you would put in Mad Magazine back in the 80s.
Or Cracked.
Wasn't that the same thing? The same genre for She-Hulk? They were trying to make it sense in this.
Oh, they totally did. I mean, that's what it's kind of. I mean,
What
is
is
that
going-
what it's like now? To me, it is.
What is going on with these writers, man?
Well, because they're
It's not the
telling
writers, it's
stories
the
that-
editors that are hiring them. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, the editors.
Well, they're trying to figure out who wants to read these books, and
No one
Or who
wants
they
to read
want to read
Hawkgirl
these
without
books.
Hawkman.
I agree. I mean, it just sounds silly.
Walt Simonson couldn't pull off an ongoing Hawkgirl series on his own. Walt fucking Simonson. Do you think Jadzia Axelrod can?
No, I mean,
If they were going to do
if he was
something
drawing it,
serious,
maybe.
they should have got Venditti on it after he did that Hawkman series. And if you're going to try to do anything, again, establish Hawkgirl as a viable character. I like Hawkgirl enough, but not by herself.
like she was done really well when it was like the Justice League cartoon, and a lot of people
Yeah.
really liked that. She even got the Hawkgirl moniker on the Hawkman series when Jeff Johns was writing it, I think, and that was some good stuff. But ultimately, it wasn't going to save the title, or it was just a story.
Yeah.
But
Then we've
yeah,
also
I
got
don't see it.
Worf from Star Trek writing Steelworks.
Jesus.
He also did the voice of Steel. I think they're going with 2 episodes of the animated series, the Superman deal. But yeah, Worf, more Star Trek. What's happening?
Has he
I
even
mean, I
written
like
a
Star
Star
Trek. I
Trek
like
novel?
Worf. He's good in DS9, but why is he writing a Steelworks book? It should be a miniseries. If anything, they're trying to act like these are
I think it
ongoing.
is. Yeah, it's weird that when it was first announced, I think they did say it was a 6 issue, but they seem to be, pulling back on announcing how long these books are. I
There's
don't
Oh,
know.
they're
way
going to do
that's
the
ongoing.
Poison Ivy thing where they announce
Yeah.
it ambiguously and then keep expanding
Or what
it.
Marvel seems to do with every book. Hey, it was always a mini, stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah, that writer of Hawkgirl did that Galaxy, the prettiest star.
Did you like it?
I actually thought that was about Josh, but still, with all that, I ended up. I read it actually. I don't
I know
know
you
if it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
What was it?
Yeah, it just, and that character's going to carry over into the Hawkgirl book, and I'm like, that's like 3 people will know who that is or care. It's again, these are all slipped in after the big news.
So that's
anyway.
that Galaxy trade is the first appearance of a very major character in the DC universe now. All
People
right,
grab
we're
it.
gonna know.
Speculators grab it.
Did you see that? Did you see that graphic novel?
They should just have James Gunn randomly in a video put that book up to the camera, and then everybody will run to get it.
Now.
Yeah.
I'm
So
ordering
Jim,
it
you've
right
been
now.
shilling DC Comics for a while now. Can you please try and sell me on any of this?
At least they seem like they want to change some things. I can't really push it that well. The idea is that they recognize at least some of the problems. That Wonder Woman book has been nothing, so put Tom King, that's going to get people involved. And really, Wes, me and you have argued this. At least this shows that they're going to drop a bunch of books at least in 1 month and maybe get some hype up. But I can't really sell this very well.
There's also going to be a 2-month delay, right? In between the
that's when that Night Terrors
again. Yeah.
Yeah, they have that Night Terrors, and really, if that Night Terrors fails, they're in big, big trouble.
Well,
because
you think it's
people
going to fail because it's not going to have any impact on anything?
Who would thunk it?
Are you excited for Night Terrors?
I am not. It's Joshua Williamson.
I've read enough Josh Williamson events now to know that
I
he
know,
can't do an event.
and that's the problem. I think that he has to realize that with that Superman book, even people are still excited to read some things from him. Don't do events. He's not good at it. And people, I think, will just say, it's the summer months. I'll do something else. But do they come back? A lot of these events, like a Future State, stuff like that, they end up being jumping off points for people more than jumping on points. And it's really scary if you're a DC fan. But, the summer we'll just read back issues and catch up to things and stuff like that.
My DC numbers are only so high anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think, I have the customers that are going to want to get, anything that comes out. But I don't think I'm not going to get Marvel fans to come on over for Night Terrors or anything like that.
No,
I'm not going to get people with sleeping problems to read this either.
I think
what
that
if you tell them this is leading into a Jadzia Axelrod Hawkgirl?
Yeah. Just
Now's
lie
the
and
time
say
to
it.
buy.
Say Freddy
Big
Krueger's in it. Go with that. The
I'll
idea,
see
though,
if they would get that would be interesting.
yeah, with Tom King, I think that's the big play with Tom King. It gets word out. People, even if it's bad, good, or indifferent, people talk about it. And then, oh my God, what, this new deal? And maybe they'll stumble into some good books, but we'll see.
I will say this. I bet you the first 4 issues of Wonder Woman aren't bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of his MO. Like he typically starts off really strong, and then
People be like, "Oh, Wes,
shit's
you
the best."
idiot! Tom King's rocking Wonder Woman. Never thought I'd get this." And I'm like, "Wait and see."
Yep.
I've been down this road before.
Cy Spurrier, you'll read 3 word bubbles and you'll think you're on acid, and then you'll just run.
Except for it's bad acid.
Yeah, really, it's always going to be a bad acid trip.
You're just kind of strung out.
Like Doc
seriously-
just on a
Wait for it
piece
to
of
wear
paper
out.
and told you it was acid.
Yeah. Even going with the idea, I thought, and now I'm going to not show anything, the idea that I thought that DC had learned that people like the fun and the family and the love and the hope, and then we get cosmic horror after what was one of, or should have been one of the flagship titles of their line right now with Jeremy Adams. It's ridiculous that they decided that.
Fatal J should probably do guest reviews with US on that Night Terror stuff.
Hey,
that will bring him back in big time, if you ask me.
Joel, I actually
can
have
see
a real question for the comic book guys. I mean, the comic book shop guys. Just real quick, fast. James Gunn, when he promoted those books, did those sales really go up on those books?
A lot of those
trades
sales,
did.
there were no issues coming out during that time, and there were some back issue sales that people were, but. And this is important. I want people to know this. At Lunar, where we order our DC comic books and trades from, Supergirl was already out of stock. All right. So were the Batmans that he talked about. Those are coming back in print. So any of those sellouts from Amazon, I don't count because they were just floating, as far as I'm concerned. That's already happened. So there was no selling out. We can't see. I mean, it did sell out, yes, but it wasn't like we were ordering and ordering and ordering. Those were not around. Yeah, it was low stock, exactly.
But do you think James Gunn cracked the code? Did he crack the code?
He helped first. Be better than
we'll
the
see.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
Superman actually has to work.
Just to point out the deal with the Supergirl book, Tom King, that Supergirl book, when it came out, it didn't sell worth crap. He even admitted that. He said it didn't sell. And if you look at his books, when he does actual big characters, not these obscure characters, the books don't sell as well. He sells less with major characters because people look at it as you're just going to destroy a major character. When you do that to a side character, human target, stuff like that, then people are intrigued because it's something they can get behind. And hey, I don't even know that character anyway. Let's see the story. And I worry about that as well. I do think it'll obviously sell better than the Clune Reds. That book has been just sales, kryptonite. It hasn't sold at all. But I don't know that people love Tom King in a major character, especially one that's so beloved by Wonder Woman. And I'll go with the one phrase I heard. You can like Tom King, but when he does your favorite character, you will then realize why a lot of people hate him, because he ruins the characters, doesn't get them.
Absolutely. Cal Miles says, it's annoying how predictable Tom King is. It's not funny because we all know Diana, misery, scissor mommy, wish she was never born.
What do you mean by scissor mommy?
I think you know what he means by that, buddy.
That's on the All Fans page that the Wonder Woman said.
In only Amazons.
Calvin says, Tom King Wonder Woman is going to be horrible. She can't catch a break. Last God story is deader. The only hope for her is Wonder Woman video game.
Yeah,
the last good story is deader. That's the Daniel Warren Johnson story.
Yeah.
I'll go with the idea that I think Wonder Woman's one of those characters now that would play better off any sort of Elseworld story, because then people don't have to give that, generic character that everybody ends up giving, and you could do whatever you want. So maybe that's the play.
Beginning of James Tynan's Justice League Dark.
Yeah. I like Greg Rucka's The Beginning of Rebirth. I didn't like it as much while I was reading it, but I went back and reread it, and I did really like it then. And it's pretty much, I think, the last decent story that we had from there.
Shocking. Competent writer delivers a decent story.
Yeah, really. Exactly. Somebody who loves the character. And that's what I think that you need for Wonder Woman. Out of all these characters, everybody knows Batman, Superman. You can kind of get it. But I think Wonder Woman needs somebody that actually knows and loves the character and has a pitch. It's one of those that you kind of need that. And you don't feel that in any of the runs that we've had since Rucka. It's just feels like an assignment and feels like they don't quite get it.
Fatal J's texting during the panel.
Shame.
I know. I told that guy, I said, I'm not testing. When I look down on the ground, my slow brain is trying to comprehend what all you guys are talking about. So, no, I'm not testing.
You're looking at new covers for your comic book.
He's looking for that Wonder Woman OnlyFans. That's what he's looking for.
Maybe.
He's like, there's got to be a cosplayer already doing this.
They have one of those?
I'm sure they do. Daniel Beatty says, only Tom King can take the interesting past of Wonder Woman and make it more cringe. Damn right he did.
I do want to say, somebody in the chat mentioned the book Legend of Wonder Woman. It's by Renee DeLise. It's in the app. It's really good. If you want to read a really good Wonder Woman story, I would suggest
What's it called
that.
again?
It's so good. It's called Legend of Wonder Woman.
Legend of Wonder Woman. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I need something with some dope art, a dope story. I want to read
it's
some
really
good Wonder
good.
Woman stuff. Okay.
Caleb says, and this is dark. Why doesn't Tom King just delete himself?
Oh, that's messed
That's
up.
kind of gross. Never mind.
That's kind of messed up, man.
Says, Pert said Tom King is on Wonder Woman due to his Supergirl comic. Not because he's making Wonder Woman better. He's going to make her and everyone miserable.
Yes.
The Supergirl comic is just fucking True Grit.
It's True Grit.
With Supergirl as Rooster Cogburn. Is he going to make Wonder Woman into the John Wayne character in The Searchers? Like, what else is he going to ruin this? Like, get out of here with that fucking Supergirl stuff. It was a complete, blatant, scene-for-scene ripoff of a better story.
And Tom King, I said, he ends up trying to write a good story, but not a good Supergirl story or a good Wonder Woman story. And I think we're just going to keep getting that.
The first thing he'll do is change the origin of the character or recontextualize something about her past. It'll make her just a miserable character.
And have somebody else do all the work. You have to figure out which is the character that's going to do all the heavy lifting for Wonder Woman while she sits there miserable.
she's going to be, this is the first time he'll get to write the mommy wife actually as the central character instead of trying to make them the central character of a book that their name isn't on the cover of.
Selina's a central character in Batman and Catwoman.
In Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah, she's the central character. Batman's barely in the book.
Yeah,
and
but
it's absolutely miserable.
But when when he was just writing Batman, she was still the central character, but her name wasn't on the fucking cover.
Man.
There you go. Gavin says, I feel like Spurrier's story works better if this is Barry instead of Wally and was a member of the Justice League Incarnate and there's a big Dark Race's big bag. Yeah, it doesn't work with Wally West at all.
Mm-mm. And if they would have made it Barry, you could have always had hope that they would bring back Jeremy Adams on a mini or reestablish his run. And this just feels, it just feels weird. It doesn't feel like Wally, and it just feels forced.
Miss Maria says, what if Wonder Woman had a YouTube channel and showed how to properly tie up people and accidentally attracted bondage fans? That's exactly what would happen.
I don't think it'd be accidentally.
I don't think
he's setting that right up.
Yeah.
Doc would be the first subscriber to that channel.
No, because I already know how to do that.
Well, there you go.
I'd be here to critique whether or not the ties were correct.
Goblin says, if you're in charge of DC, would you put Spurrier on Green Lantern to keep Jeremy Adams on the Flash? I remember Si's Green Lantern light at the end of the Forever. A cosmic horror story makes more sense with Green Lantern than the Flash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, just have Jeremy Adams on both.
That would be the way to do it.
We need for Wonder Woman, going to that bondage thing, we need a Tom of Finland style artist, but for Wonder Woman. And that would be hot.
Time out.
It would sell a lot.
Does anyone know Tom of Finland? Is anyone familiar? Isn't that just a gay thing? Am I?
Think Freddie Mercury, but buff, like really buff.
With massive bulges and
with
huge
lots
nipples.
of motorcycle cops and stuff.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I'm sure Wonder Woman will have a bulge.
But no. I'm saying do it that style, but with Wonder Woman and the Amazons, and it would sell a lot.
Dirty Girl says, morning, guys. Read more back issues, indies, and manga. This crap is going to get worse.
I definitely agree. Back issues, where is that?
That's all I buy.
You're not reading manga yet?
I manga most definitely.
Well, why are you just pushing back issues? Weren't you?
Well, I live in a back issue bin when I go to the comic shop because I'm a cheap bastard, and second of all, these comics, they're not appealing to me. Now I did read Nemesis. Have y'all read Nemesis 2? Issue 2?
Yeah, I read Nemesis Reloaded.
Oh, it's dope. I love it.
It's a very good book.
Hey,
Brad Bauman says, I have tried for 2 decades with Wonder Woman, and the lack of villains and developed cast make it impossible. And the fact that they keep restarting with the character, she's constantly being rebooted and changed.
Yeah, I feel like Wonder Woman's also one of those characters, as well as her rogues gallery. It's one of those you have to have an epic. You have to have one of those long-running stories that's complex, not this like 6-issue trade writing. I don't think she's cut out for that.
Hey, come on. They've been doing this milk story for like 3 years.
Yeah.
What else do you want? There's some long form.
Pretty long.
That's why Azzarello's run worked so well. It was just one long arc, and he developed everything throughout.
I think Wonder Woman has the potential to have dope villains. We just haven't had that great writer behind any of the stories.
George Perez wrote Wonder Woman for years.
Yeah.
And it was probably the last time it felt like a necessary title to understand the DC universe.
Well, a lot of people like that Greg Rucka pre-Rebirth run that he did.
Yeah.
No, it was
good.
Whether they were good or
actually.
not, they just didn't feel central to the DC universe.
I think you're kind of right. There was that time when Maxwell Lord was going crazy. So, there was a little bit in there, but for the most part, I kind of agree with Doc.
Yeah.
At least
Oh
partially.
my goodness. No, let's not do this Doc is right crap. Doc does say smash the like buttons, bitches, so I guess he was right.
I was waiting to see if you're going to say he was right.
I am always right.
Even a broken clock is right once a day.
No.
Sense,
Twice a day, bitch. Twice. A broken clock's wrong.
You're a
twice.
broken digital clock, Doc.
Oh. It doesn't matter. I'm still fucking right twice. unless you're dealing with military time.
Exactly, military time. That's the only way you look at time. Oh, you stupid civilians. I have no idea to actually tell time. Goodness. Godwin says, Wonder Woman's Rogues Gallery did a team-up called Villainy Inc. People could use those infos to elevate their villains more than using gods too much.
No. They tried to do that with the Clunrad deal with the milk and the nonsense, and it didn't work.
Needs more milk.
You need good writers is the first part. I mean, it seems like they just throw whoever at the Wonder Woman book at times, and that's not going to work.
Even in the 80s, prior to Perez, I mean, we love Jerry Conway and all sorts of people that have taken on the book beforehand, but those are not really super classic Wonder Woman was treading water for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, always really has. But
yeah, I mean,
George Perez came on and it picked it up pretty big. And later on, when like Deodato was on art, there was some really hot stuff going on in the 90s. But maybe New 52 helped it out, but there really hasn't been crazy Wonder Woman success over the years.
No. Yeah, and I don't think that they think that Tom King coming on is going to make Wonder Woman a top 5 book. It's not going to happen. Right. She doesn't sell like that. So they have some idea in their head.
You made her top 50 book, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's probably what they're looking at.
Wonder Woman exists in kind of this weird, and has always, and until they figure it out, kind of will always, where in the cultural zeitgeist, she is absolutely A tier.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask
when it comes to awareness, but for sales, she will always be C tier.
Okay,
it's almost like what happens with Harley now. Sorry, Jay.
Yeah. Oh, but you just walked right into my question. Who sells more, Harley or Wonder Woman?
Right now, Harley has.
Harley.
Wow.
They do more things with her. Like she's going to have a new miniseries. She has the animated miniseries. She has a regular ongoing. When they do a Valentine's issue, she's on the cover. Harley's all over the place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Wonder Woman kind of suffers from a lot of the things like the X-Men do, the individual X-Men characters, especially like somebody like Storm. Great, wonderful character.
Yeah.
Can't carry a fucking solo.
Yeah.
Well, the only X-Men that can carry a solo book is Wolverine. So
Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cable.
Says, Cy Spurrier's recent best work is Step by Bloody Step. Great story. I heard his fantasy comic Coda is good from Boom, and they're reprinting it in hardcover. Is Coda the really bad Fern Gully thing?
I don't know about any of all I know is Step by Bloody Step didn't have any words in it, if I remember correctly.
Which makes
excellent
it
writing.
Better than it used to.
Yeah.
It was the easiest Spurrier read I ever had.
Yeah. When you don't have Cy Spurrier's actual writing there to make you feel like you have a fucking headache.
I remember not only did that book look really great, so did Coda, but I didn't read any of the Coda. I think it was fantasy-esque, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. If you're looking for some Cy Spurrier, comment says check out Step by Bloody Step or Coda. I say go read Way of X and then stop as soon as it's done and don't continue. Because it absolutely falls off. As far as the quality, we've got some more stuff to talk about. We've hit the Dawn of DCU. Let's get over the Marvel stuff. Let's hit the movies so Fatal J can get in on the action. It sounds like the Marvels are having trouble behind the scenes. I've heard rumors that Brie Larson is an enormous pain in the ass, apparently. She doesn't like her co-stars. The movie has already been pushed back. Apparently, they were screening this movie to test audiences, Josh, and it did not go well, like a lot of Disney movies these days, and they're scrambling to take the goofy stuff out and fix the ending of the movie. Does Kevin Feige and the MCU have another issue on their hand? Josh?
Potentially. I mean, I think they've got a lot of fixing to do with the movies that have already been in production because they had a hard shift of the type of content they wanted to deliver, and it's been clear that it's not working well. And it's almost felt like Disney, Marvel, these last like 4 or 5 films has been more so of a parade of characters. It's almost more like an amusement park than an actual movie. So yeah, we'll see. The fact that it's getting poor test screenings, and this is not a new rumor. This rumor has been around for a while. Like this movie was originally supposed to come out at the end of last year.
Yep.
So this rumor has been there, and that's kind of been the feedback that's been going on. I had high hopes that they would find a way to make this a good movie by not having Carol be the central figure, because I think Carol can be boring. I think Carol is one of those characters that needs to be in an ensemble to work, and it seems like it still isn't working, unfortunately.
I just want to be honest real quick. When it comes to the first Captain Marvel movie, the only reason why people really watched the first one is because it was off the boots of Infinity War, and it was going into Endgame, and everybody was curious with what was going on. And then when it comes to the Indian girl, and I hope I'm not being offensive, but when it comes to the Indian Marvel,
she's Pakistani.
Oh,
and
sorry,
her name is Miss Marvel Kamala Khan.
My bad. She Pakistani.
There's a big difference.
Yes, most definitely.
By way of New Jersey, though, right?
Yeah.
By way of New Jersey.
Okay, just want to make sure we know that.
Well, forgive me for the Pakistani people. Forgive me for my ignorance.
The New Jersey part is arguably a million times
somebody's
worse.
cell phone is way too close to the microphone. But anyways, she had.
Jay, you keep saying that, but every time you say that, you're the closest person to your microphone.
Yeah, I kind of think you protest too much, Jay.
It's not me because my cell phone is right here. I'm telling you,
it's
not
Doc.
me.
Something that happens when I record with Doc more than
But
anybody.
the girl, didn't nobody want to see this Disney Plus show? Did nobody want to see it? It had the lowest ratings ever when it comes to a Disney Plus show. So nobody wants to see this movie. I don't even know why this movie is coming out, why it's even a thing. Now, I can understand Marvel's all about the girl power stuff and all that stuff, but at least put out likable characters. Now, the only reason why I will go see this, I want to see Monica Rambeau, but she's not even a big character when it comes to the MCU. So, yes, I can see why it's in trouble.
She's not. It is my understanding that they're trying to give her a large spotlight in this movie, and I will say I think that's probably the smart thing to do. My only downfall is, I'm someone who will praise WandaVision to all ends and be-ends. I don't know if she's that good of an actress, and that's what worries me, because I felt like she underperformed compared to everyone else in WandaVision. So I don't know if she's going to be able to carry a character like this. I have heard that she has great action scenes, so hopefully, knock on wood, we at least get that. But
did you hear that Brie Larson was pissed because it's not called Captain Marvel anymore, and she doesn't want to be a co-star to somebody else?
I have not heard that, but
I did. I saw that interview that she did when she said, "Do anybody want to see it?" Because the guy asked her about the movie. She said, "Do anybody even care about the character?" She was really pissed off.
Well, that's her being catty from feedback
and
it's just that's part of why people don't want to see it, is because how she comments on things. Like
if we get really, really lucky, they'll reshoot the whole third act. They'll have Rogue come in, steal her powers, and
that'd be dope.
Make her go away.
That would
completely agree.
But you're coming from a comic book fan mind frame. They're not going to do that because they don't read comic books. They're not going to do that. Trust me.
And if they don't use Secret Invasion, to like be a lead-in to tell a huge, massive scroll story, then what was the point? I mean, seriously, though.
But if they do use Secret Invasion to tell a big, massive scroll story, then what the fuck's left afterwards to still tell? That's just an epilogue. You're making an epilogue.
They find bracelets and they switch places. Like, I don't know, what's the Lindsay Lohan movie where she's switching places with her mom?
Freaky Friday.
Yes, it's Freaky Friday, but the Marvel Universe.
Or it's an entire movie where Carol is. We find out she's been a Skrull and she gets turned into a cow.
No, at least they could have Tom Jones do it. Isn't he the one that had the bracelets with Captain Marvel?
Rick Jones.
Rick Jones. Tom Jones is a singer.
Tom Jones, I wouldn't mind that.
I was thinking, was he in a Marvel movie?
I think Tom Jones is dead.
No,
who is Tom Jones? The dude that says, "Not on usual."
Yes, not on usual.
That's you now.
Okay, this is the real thing right here. And my comic book shop owners, please help me out on this information. No one cares about Captain Marvel, but they keep pushing her like she's Harley Quinn, like she's a very popular character. Am I right?
There was a lot of ladies that were reading comics in like 2006, 2008 in the comic store, probably in bigger cities. And the Carol Corps, whether it was manufactured or just everybody got together and said, this is what we're going to agree to. They did get together and they liked, Carol Danvers for some reason because she sucks. She's
It's
always sucked, and she will always suck.
AstroTurf.
it started in 2012 with Marvel Now when they launched Carol first as Captain Marvel.
I mean, they gave incentives for these people to care about the character. I don't know what they were because I don't have. Well,
I do.
I don't identify.
I do because I had a friend I had a roommate at the time that did it. But so no, it was Marvel AstroTurf this to start, where they decided that they were going to make Carol into Marvel's Wonder Woman. And they didn't give a fuck whether it was organic or not. And it becomes inauthentic. It was very obviously inauthentic and AstroTurfed from very early on. Now, in fairness, the Kelly Sue did reach into her own pocket to do a lot of the Carol core stuff. Marvel did not put any money behind it. They just, beyond still paying Kelly Sue. But they did all kinds of little merch stuff. They promoted it on Twitter, and that's it. And Kelly Sue did, in fairness to her, she did pull money out of her own pocket to push a lot of that Carol core, like the little merch and the dog tags and stickers and pins and shit, to try to AstroTurf it into reality. It never caught on beyond the Tumblrista crowd. But
she
Marvel
has that crowd, she does have a certain amount of people that will follow her to anything that isn't Aquaman.
So you guys feel like this is a manufactured thing?
It absolutely was. It was. They admitted. Marvel admitted we're turning Carol into our Wonder Woman. They did it whenever they launched.
But that's funny you said that because the first Wonder Woman, the first Captain Marvel movie did a billion. If it did that much, why does she have to share a movie with the other?
Because they realized
it's a rub.
Because
it's like a wrestling rub, also.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but partially, I think Marvel Studios was honest enough with itself. There was a rumor in Endgame that a lot of Scarlett Johansson's scenes were actually done initially. They did two versions of a lot of the Black Widow scenes, one with Black Widow as kind of the person organizing everything for the Avengers, and another with Carol. And all the ones they basically shot it both ways. And when they did test screenings, the ones with Captain Marvel as core to the story tested very, very, very poorly. So they went with the Black Widow ones. I think they were honest between that piece of information and the response that they got from Captain Marvel, which was, we saw this because you told us it was going to be absolutely essential for Endgame. It was not absolutely essential. It was set 30 years in the past, and it doesn't really affect the story in any way. There was no connection to the Infinity storyline. There was no connection at all to it, other than she knew Nick Fury. That was it. So they felt that, okay, we got one past the audience the first time around. They rejected her in our test screenings for the second time around. We're not going to be dumb enough to think that success from the first movie is actually going to translate when we don't have something to bamboozle an audience into going to see, because we swear to God it's going to be super duper ultra important.
Yeah.
There's nothing ultra important to sell us on.
I see.
It had Blockbuster Video in it, right?
Yeah.
It made me feel like when I ignored Blockbuster Video.
I miss Blockbuster Video. So, Josh, have you been hearing anything on behind the scenes, or what are they trying to do here? They're trying to remove the goofy stuff. Like, obviously, MODOK seems to have overtaken the MCU the last couple of weeks.
Oh God. As far as I can tell, they're trying to cut back to actually give coherent stories, put coherent stories in. And it seems like part of one, I think part of these delays that we're seeing too is to streamline their stories, because they were just throwing shit out like as fast as possible. And that's why I said it feels more like an amusement park than an actual movie, is because it became a dog and pony show of look what characters we have now. And they're trying to kind of pull that back and rein that in a little bit. I think the thing with Carol, and you know, at the expense of us not sounding like we're like anti-female characters, one of the problems with Carol as a character is that there's not much character there. Like the most interesting thing that's ever happened to her was her losing her powers, or at least having her powers diminished by Rose.
Well, she
also had sex with her son or something, right?
Well, that too.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Arguably,
She also had a drinking problem because she has to.
Yeah, but Tony already had a drinking problem.
Exactly.
She gets everyone's hand-me-downs.
She had big boobs.
Yeah.
That Miss Marvel costume, that black costume was fire. And you can't say I'm just like, oh, of course you'd say that you're a dude that wants to see her boob. Like, I'm a gay man, and I'm like, hey, that costume.
Wait, no,
you're gay and you wanted to see her boobs. That means it was extra good.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to put it on. But no, strangely enough, Jay was talking about how Miss Marvel,
Miss Marvel, yeah.
Ilan Vellani, whatever the actress's name is. I'm sorry. I apologize. Like, honestly, that's probably going to be the best part of this movie, because that girl has so much freaking charisma that I'm probably going to love every scene she's in. So.
I loved her scenes in WandaVision. That was the best part of that show for me.
You talking about Monica Rambeau. He talking about the other one, the little girl.
Oh, the girl?
Marvel.
Yeah, I'm talking about Miss Marvel.
Josh said that she couldn't act a lick in WandaVision.
I didn't think her acting held up as well. I thought.
Don't worry, Doc is not a connoisseur of these things like you and I, Josh.
Because
I can kind of see what you're saying. She was a little stiff.
I made the comment that they should have switched who played Monica and who played Maria Rambeau. Like if they had switched those actresses, I'd be way more excited.
I'm not excited about this film at all, but I'll try. I'm gonna check it out though.
You're excited to make some videos about it.
Pretty much.
Some shorts. You still in the shorts game?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna start doing long form again.
You still doing shorts, huh?
Oh, you're tracking
those 12-year-old Zoomers?
Well, man, it's giving me subs and it's giving me views, man. So I gotta get. I know I'm not making no money from it, but I'm gonna get back to long form. It's coming. I'm gonna be a long form guy soon.
This is Fatal J. We're making glow in the dark soap today in my shorts. I'm Fatal J. Tell me that's not what you
spot on.
You don't have to do that shit.
Why I have to be glowing in the dark soap?
Yourself, sir, making these stupid shorts for people with little to no attention span.
Look, man, I look at it like this. I'm like Tony Stark. You have to change with the times. You have to upgrade, man. Pretty soon, YouTube is going to be nothing but shorts. I'm telling you. So you better get down with the program. Get down or lay down. Okay, sir? Get down or lay down. Make some shorts on Thinking Critical, because it's going to be critical if you don't.
By the
Thinking
way,
Critical. We're making Young Comic Books. Thinking Critical. Come on back.
Scene.
Till next week.
By the way,
shorts, huh?
Still the best costuming for any of the Captain Marvels were still done by Axel Braun.
Okay, yeah. Kind of out of nowhere.
While they had costumes on.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the Monica Rambeau costume was fucking dope.
I love it. I agree, Doc. I agree.
The one
like
from
Photon?
The one from the Axel Braun one was much better than the one that they have in this upcoming movie.
All right. Well, let's hear from the people. We've got a lot of opinions on this one. Comic says, I saw Gabe's tweet about Jeff Loveness, upset about MODOK being a joke. Really wish we can interview him. Remember, people like his Nova comic. Is he upset the way that he was portrayed in the movie, I'm assuming?
So he's up. No. Jeff Loveness is upset.
Sad.
Yeah, he's upset. One with the reviews on the film and the commentary on the film. That's upsetting him. And he's upset that people are disliking MODOK. But if you'll remember, right before the movie hit theaters, he was like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania hitting this weekend. And remember, everyone is MODOK. He is pushing MODOK as this everyman character that everyone's going to relate to. And he's this huge hero. And I'm just like, you should not be writing these movies because of this alone.
Well, Josh,
So-
you heard what the man said too. He said anybody that loves the comic books, he don't want them writing the movies. He said that.
Yeah, I just
Didn't
Well,
Jeff
whoever the
Loeb do-
VFX person
He's
is that
written
made
comic
Modok look
books.
that
Yeah.
stupid, they should absolutely be fired.
yeah.
So
Agreed.
Kevin Feige
Bucks
should be
anyway,
fired
who
for letting
cares?
it happen because he saw what it looked like. He knew.
Agreed.
Like back in the day, Kevin Feige never would have done that. He was a perfectionist 4 or 5 years ago, and now he just lets anything slip by.
But this is not mostly Kevin Feige fault, right? It's the woman. And isn't it a new woman that's over
he's
it
the
too?
president of Marvel Studios. Everything is
Yeah,
his
he's
fault.
doing everything.
Victoria Alonso was another person. She suffers from the same thing that a lot of corporations do, where people get promoted beyond their competence. She was wonderful for what she did for location scouting and all that great stuff, and being a producer, wonderful. The minute she got any input on story, everything went to shit.
Well, I also think Bob Chapek has a role to play in what we're seeing right now. And I think you're going to see his hand kind of in the mix of things pretty much all the way up until about Thunderbolts, unfortunately. Like, he was the one that was mandating runtimes. He was the one mandating more humor. I think a lot of, he was also mandating more characters, more projects, more films, more TV. And I think that's what really screwed everything over. But so much of this is so far in the pipeline at this point that it's going to be another year and a half before you see the changes of that. I mean, they might try to fast track as much reshoots as possible, but they're also trying to regain good graces with their art designers and the visual effects designers and all that stuff. So, they're in this like weird limbo of, hey, the shit that no one's responded to, unfortunately, you're going to get more for the next like 3 to 4 projects.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did they fire his kid yet? The one that got forced on Feige.
Yeah, but he was honestly there before. Yeah, I think he was there before Chapek took over, though. But I think he's still there. Oh, he wasn't? Okay.
No, he came on with
all right, guys.
when Bond
I don't know. But you had
Let's keep her going.
I will
Cal
say you
says
I was just gonna make a comment to keep the point going. We carry on. Fine, carry on.
Go, get it.
I was just gonna say you need to keep in mind that we're talking about Feige's in control. Feige was not in control. Feige was not deciding what was going to be a movie, what was going to be a series. Like, he had no say in that. So
Caleb says Brie Larson is a lost cause, just like Disney. And that's all there is to it, Josh.
yeah, pretty much.
Take it.
I mean, her attitude's her biggest problem.
Her Q rating is not very good.
Yeah.
I like
Although
her in
she's
that
doing
movie.
a lot of like sexy photos, trying to get people interested in her again.
If anybody seen
Okay
Scott
with that.
Pilgrim, she was very good in that movie.
That's before she got a lot of work done.
Scott Pilgrim wasn't a very good movie, though. It sucked.
What? That movie
Wow.
was amazing.
That movie ruined fucking women.
Yeah, that movie sucked. The best movie she was ever in was 21 Jump Street. LK says the MCU is failing because Marvel decided to ignore the demo that drives superhero movies, 18 to 50-year-old males. These are the people that go multiple times to these movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something that always happens. Once you get successful, you got to be more successful the next time. How are you going to be more successful? We've got to go beyond who our customers are. Once
I
they
think-
decided to make, He-Man accessible to girls, what happened to the toy sales? They died because boys don't want to play with cool toys that their sister wants to play with.
Yeah.
I don't think the demo goes 18 to 54 when it comes to movies, though. I could be wrong because I don't know. Maybe
No,
Josh knows, but it's like probably 18 to 40, right?
It's 18 to
It's-
35, but
Oh,
then
there
it's
you
the
go.
35 to 54.
so
So it's
54 is more like a comic book thing rather than a movie thing.
No, what he meant was that it's 2 demographics, the 2 that are butted up against each other.
I
There's
see,
the
I
18 to
see.
35,
Gotcha.
35 to 54. Those are
Yeah.
2 different demographics.
Right.
They just merged the 2.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Mr. DC says, never
Yeah.
forget Captain Marvel made $1 billion. In quotation marks.
Again,
That-
Doc was
that's-
right, though. It came right in between Infinity War and Endgame. They
Yes, sir.
told you that it was critical to Endgame. Even the hype about the movie coming
And
in
they
was
hadn't really released a bad movie besides like Iron Man 2 and what is it, Thor 2?
Thor 2.
Man, what you talking
Yeah.
about? There's been a
Well,
slew
Iron
of
Man
bad
2
ones.
was better than Thor 2.
Thor 2 was terrible.
Iron Man 2.
Besides Iron Man 2 and Thor 2.
I don't think Iron Man 2 was that bad.
And even Iron Man 2, the big knock on it was that it was basically just a 2-hour commercial for Avengers.
I'm gonna tell you this too, and you guys won't admit it, but a lot of people weren't checking into Cap either. The first one.
The first Cap is far inferior to.
It's good. Don't get me wrong, but a lot. If you look at the movie sales, the box office, it didn't do that good.
Well, none of them did.
Like
they
the
all
third
built.
movie.
Yeah,
They
it's
were
the
building-
third.
Yeah, it built up.
The Avengers blew everything up.
Correct.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Avengers came out, and then you got Iron Man 2, and all of a sudden the sales or the box office is up at like 850 million rather than the 400 million that it was the first time.
Remember
It
when
just
there was a
kinda
time
blew
when
up.
there was Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and
Too bad
the
they're all
movie
gone.
and they were kicking ass?
Those days are over.
That
Good
was
old days.
amazing. I mean, I never thought I'd see.
Carol Danvers was more interesting and likable back when she was Miss Marvel Warbird and wasn't overpowered and had flaws. Thank you very much, Rate That 7. Absolutely. Carol Danvers, when she was actually a character and had a personality, was a much better character, but we're getting the Kelly Sue version, apparently. Eric O'Sullivan, the Sultan of Soup himself, who normally would bring the positivity to the channel. This week we have Doc, says, Pete Carol Danvers, in my honest opinion, Bendis Max Alias, as Jessica Jones' best friend, likable, loyal, and pretty darn hot in the Warbird costume. Hey, do that live chat in the panel. Get a a CA t-shirt. I did.
Comics Aficionados.
Man, that was hard to read. What up, Eric?
I don't know about
Comics Aficionados t-shirt.
that's typical Bendis, just doing anything he can to make his character likable, or ensconced in the Marvel universe when it was really Spider-Woman.
Well, yeah, remember that book was supposed to be about Jessica Drew,
Exactly.
and editorial vetoed it, so he created a new character, gave her all of Jessica Drew's personality, all of Jessica Drew's essentially history and connections, gave her a new name, but kept the first name. And because
It made it confusing.
because remember, at the time, Jessica Drew hadn't been in comics in years. And she was
Jessica Jones has got some serious flaws with the drinking and the sleeping around, Doc.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but that was the whole thing.
That was a good TV show, too.
Jessica Jones was supposed to be Jessica Drew. Jessica Drew as Spider-Woman hadn't been seen in years, wasn't being used at the time, and she was supposed to be essentially a retired superhero that failed as a superhero. They gave her the entire backstory that they would have given Jessica Drew to make explain why she hadn't been around for close to a decade at that point.
All right.
I was just
Rate
a
that
fan
7.
of. I was just a fan of Captain Marvel when she was in X-Men and she had that rogue storyline. That's the only time I really liked her.
There you go.
Well, she wasn't Captain Marvel then.
What was her name?
Binary.
Big Marvel. Oh, no. He means when he was.
Wait,
She
remember
was
she had
fucking
the
up Rogue, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
when she had the long lightning bolt on her chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been Warbird or
Oh, okay.
Miss Marvel. She used
okay.
both.
Okay.
Yeah, Marvel was much better than she was. Rate X7, the MCU is making the same mistakes as the comics have been making over the last 23 years. That's the big problem, Josh. They're catching up to all the bad stories and ideas that they've had over the last decade and a half.
Yep.
They didn't even do Cap Wolf. What the hell?
Yeah, why not?
There's so much stuff to mine there.
They skipped.
I mean, hey, now that we're in the multiverse, maybe we will get Cap Wolf.
Oh,
Who
thank
knows?
Josh, do I need to watch that Werewolf by Night Marvel movie?
I
It's not a
mean,
movie, it's a special. 20 minutes.
it's decent. It's 45 minutes. I mean, if you like old school, like horror type filming, it's up
No,
your
I
alley.
don't.
Okay, then don't watch it.
Okay.
Watch it.
Ideator says Quantumania was unnecessary. The whole premise was invalidated by the mid-credit scene from Ant-Man 2. Also, this is not the same company behind Cap 2.
I just wanted to know, did Kang and Janet, did they?
Oh, of course they did. You got a fine piece of chocolate like that, and you're in a cave with them all alone, and you've been lonely.
And they
Heck
was in that
yeah.
little hut together for 30 years. And
Yeah.
they tried to make it seem like they didn't do it.
You know, the bad thing is they changed the ending of Quantum Mania because originally Kang and people went and saw test
He
screeners.
should have won.
Yeah, he in the original version he escapes, which makes him more of a threat. Like it's like, oh shit, he's out of the quantum realm now. He can use time to his advantage now. This is not good. And they went away from that to have Ant-Man win, essentially thanks to a bunch of giant ants / wasp coming in to save him. But yes,
Josh,
this movie is pointless. Like
it was
you can
pointless,
skip
but it's so much they could have done with that Kang character.
agreed.
Well, he's going to be in the next Avengers movies. They're not done with Kang.
No, I know, but they
No, but I'm just saying, like the overall scope of it, you could do so much with Kang, especially with the Loki and how that all connected to.
Yeah.
It's just they dropped the ball, man.
Yeah, part of the problem was you had Loki that set up that this Kang, the one that was in Quantumania, is the one that's like the big problem. Like, this is the one you need to watch out for. This is the one that got kicked out by all the Kangs because of how terrible he is. He pops up in Quantumania and then he gets beat by a bunch of ants.
Josh, I got a theory though.
I'm not joking.
I got a theory though that Kang is not dead. He's just somewhere
I don't think
else.
he is either, but still, like he lost to Ant-Man single-handedly. Like,
I know.
How do you make him an
weakest
actual
Avenger?
All
threat?
right, fellas.
Correct.
All right, fellas.
The weakest
Pseudo down.
Avenger.
Pseudo down. Ideator says, Wes, one more dig at Scott Pilgrim and I's unsubscribed.
I agree. Scott Pilgrim was a dope film, man.
I will tell you this. There's a video that Yule Carter and I made together about 3 years ago about 5 comic books that destroyed the industry and why comic book writing is bad today. Do not watch that video.
Scott Pilgrim is absolutely.
I gotta
I'm not
watch it.
saying that, Doc, because I'm not making a dig. I don't want to
I'm
lose
watching
the sub
that.
here.
I'm watching
I
that.
was just saying that you and I might have had a conversation. That you
And you had a lot of Marvel people in that movie before they were Marvel people. You had Chris Evans, you had Brie Larson. You had a good cast in there.
Disney needs to stop with the MCU and return to standalone stories and projects. The MCU is milk dry, both creatively and written. MCU overworked special effects artists.
Common sense, don't say that.
Down.
Common
They
sense,
need to slow down and have a plan.
I
which
think
they're doing. So thankfully, but
common sense, don't say standalone because that's exactly what DC did and everybody hated it.
Well, that's because they hired Zack Snyder and he like set the tone and it just sucked.
yeah.
Yeah, don't hire whatever you do, MCU. Do not hire Zack Snyder.
Unless you want to make a Squadron Supreme movie.
Everybody, Rebel Moon is coming out December and it's going to blow the doors off of any movie that dropped this year. I promise you. Rebel Moon, remember the name, the Star Wars killer.
I can guarantee you that the Shazam movie will be better.
I can
Dallas
guarantee I won't watch
Moderman.
any of them.
Anya from Spy Family is better than the MCU combined. Jim, is this true?
What
That is true. I will say affirmative. Yeah, it's because the manga characters are more developed, so you get behind them, and she's a great character. She's also like 4, so stop it, Wes. I knew something was going to come up. Yeah, she's a little girl, but yeah, she's cute and is one of the most adorable characters in all of media right now.
I will say this real quick, real fast. The 2 animes that's killing Marvel and DC right now is My Hero Academia and One Punch Man. Take notes from those 2 animes, Marvel and DC.
Common Sense Wong uses the Kelly Sue to Lin Lee, Gary Stu. Did they mess up Wong?
They messed up Wong a long time ago.
They're trying to make Wong.
I think that's Alyssa Wong because she ended up writing the Lin Lee, the Iron Fist deal. Yeah, and changed it up, and it ended up being like way too much. And the concept was okay, I think, but it just ended up being forced, and nobody cared anyway. Nobody was reading that.
Then Marvel didn't mess up that Wong because it was already messed up when they got it.
Yeah.
General Ballsack. The Marvels
The
have
worst
set up
Wong.
for Avengers 200 gold on the big screen. I don't think we're ever going to see Avengers 200 on the big screen.
What? She's not going to give birth to her own. Whatever. Never mind.
I was just talking about this at the comic store
my
the
own
other
grandpa.
This always comes up. This book, it's never not going to come
infamous.
up. Yeah.
Can you imagine the like Moms Against Incest campaign that would come out of that little story?
This is the thing is that you got to put yourself in the mind of science fiction writing of the time, and things were wild. You got to read some Heinlein. You got to read some.
This comic book was notorious the day that it was released.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those things that you look back on time. You're like, huh, that's not right. It was like people read it immediately were like, whoa.
Yeah, but that was that was kind of one of the things. They were willing to push boundaries, and they probably didn't think about it being that weird because they're just like, oh, we could do crazy time travel shenanigans.
We're from West Virginia. This stuff
wait.
Whoa, I went to WVU.
God impregnates a woman so he could have a physical form to woo her. That sounds like a love story to me. I mean, how else is a god going to have a physical manifestation, right?
I will also say...
I want to get through two more topips that I want to hit, but we are getting low on time.
Cool.
So let's see if we can get this April O'Neil stuff out of the way because Fatal J loves TMNT. And let's see if we can talk about Diamond Comics because we do have a retailer here that can talk about some of the nonsense I was spewing just a few days ago. Fatal J, you're a TMNT head. We've got people saying that April O'Neil was black from the very beginning. She was always supposed to be a black character. I say that is not true, and it's created this stupid online debate based on this Seth Rogen TMNT thing that has good animation, but seems to have set off a firestorm of controversy.
Me and you always have different opinion because I think the animation looks crappy. The debate
not really the story here.
Okay, I understand. And the thing about it is they're talking about she's black. No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. She was always white in the books. I own the first run, and she was a white lady. The reason why I'm saying this is because if she was black, why didn't she have the same skin tone or colorization or whatever you want to call it as Baxter Stockman, the guy that eventually turns into the Fly? I mean, they have two different skin tones, you know. Now, the debate out there, I've saw people saying, well, you know, Eastman said it was based off his mixed race wife. Well, mixed race, she can still have a white skin tone. So I think it's just trolls out there.
He also didn't start dating that woman until a few issues into the book. So he changed it afterwards. It's like none of these motherfuckers ever watched 1980s news. Every woman on the news in the 1980s had a perm. You cannot use, hey, curly hair as justification. Bitch, every woman on the news, every single news broadcaster. I'm pretty sure Barbara Walters came out with a fucking perm at least once.
Oh, yeah, perms was the thing, man. You can remember Scarface. Remember his sister? She had a perm on there. You know, that was the thing back in the 80s.
Marie Osmond had a perm, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I mean,
the thing about the hair in that original deal, it did change a lot, too. That was a very inconsistent perm that went through. But, yeah, it didn't seem like a black woman. But even then, this online argument's ridiculous anyway.
I'm a hardcore Turtles fan, and the only person that they ever race swapped on the Ninja Turtles was Baxter Stockman. That was it.
And that was for the cartoon. And you can blame fucking, Nickelodeon for that? I don't know. Who the shit owned it back then? I know Nickelodeon owns it now, but...
So if we want to get technical about April O'Neil, Kevin Eastman himself has said that she was based off an Asian woman and that he used the name of someone who is of mixed race.
But Peter Laird always said she was white. Now, I know they've always had conflicting views about the comic book because when they was making that, they wasn't thinking that deep that people in the future will be talking about, oh, she's white, oh, she's black. They was just trying to make something dope. They were trying to create something dope. So if she was white, if she was Asian, whatever, she was white, man.
And if Laird and Eastman can agree on that, then it must be true because those guys can't agree on anything.
I think it's a bigger problem that she's fat.
I agree. She's fat.
Good luck being a fucking television reporter like that.
She's fat.
You ain't getting on camera.
Oh, you could just have a YouTube show now.
No, man.
She's just TikToking it. It's okay.
She's doing eating challenges. Is that what you're telling me?
So she's on the Women of Marvel channel.
She's a cook. Yeah, exactly. She's a lifestyle brand, is what she is.
Yes.
I can actually understand where Doc is coming from because when you watch the news, usually the ladies, the anchors, they have a particular look to themselves. They don't have the
only Latin Weather Channel chicks, right?
You watch those too, huh?
You know it.
I always see the clickbait of you wouldn't believe what happened with this slip. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious,
and
I will
click
believe
them
it.
every time. I click them.
Now that Wes left, though, I can say I'm with Jay that the animation, the whole Spider-Verse animation, it gives me a headache.
It kind of does.
That's where that come from. I was trying to think what else did this.
I
That's
like
the
it because
Spider-Verse.
it's deep, it's rich. I think the art style, but it does. It
kind of fits the
difficult to watch.
original like Mirage look, but it just it doesn't work for me on the screen. I'm really afraid that animation style is going to become really the next bullet time.
Where the fuck?
And I don't need that. I
used to have a problem with squiggle vision, and I got over
that
it.
too.
So, I probably can do.
Or like cell shading at one point in the video games became like the big hot thing too, and I hate the trends like that.
This is the thing, though. When it comes to Seth Rogen, I'm not a fan of his, but I am actually a fan of his stuff he done on Amazon with The Boys and with Invincible. Invincible is incredible. So I'm gonna actually give this a try, even though I don't like the look, I don't like the style, I don't even like how the turtles are actually acting like teenagers. They're two teenagers. You know what I mean? It's like in the comic books, they had a little grown-up seriousness to themselves, but this one they're too annoying.
It's like the first time they're going to be actual teenagers, it seems.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for that.
I think that's cool.
I found that refreshing because I always had issues with a bunch of teenagers acting like some 35-year-old men, and I get it. They're ninjas, but what I'm hoping is that they're teenagers. They finally face a real threat, and they're like, "Hey,
oh my god."
Yeah, there's some shit going on. We should straighten up.
Exactly.
And but hot take. I actually thought this looked fun. I'm not gonna say it looks good.
It does look fun.
But it looks fun.
Yeah.
Kudos for them making Jackie Chan Master Splinter. But what the freak is up with the afro? Oh, Master Splinter. Did y'all catch that? Why the freak he has an afro?
I didn't pay enough attention to that little 3-second clip he was in.
He got a freaking afro. Why a rat has the afro? That doesn't make sense.
See that on Rat sometimes.
It doesn't make sense. This talking rat.
You said you seen it?
No, I didn't. I only saw it, but
no, Wes said he's seen it before.
I'm just waiting for Jackie Chan to have a black man's accent doing Splinter with an afro.
You know what? I wouldn't even be offended by that. That would Jackie be hilarious.
I pity the fool.
He'll just channel his inner Chris Tucker, and it'll be like Rush Hour 4.
Yes.
Rush Hour 4 is coming too, guys.
Don't you ever touch a rat man's radio.
Didn't they already make that movie?
3.
I just rewatched Rush Hour.
I mean Rush Hour 5. Excuse me.
They make a Rush Hour movie every 10 years.
How many Rush Hours is it? It's 4 of them, right?
I legitimately don't remember that 4 ever came out. I remember 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember 4.
It has to be 4.
It's the same movie over and over.
Yeah,
pretty much.
The first one was
kind of like
LA.
Fast
the second
and
one
Furious,
was
but
that's what make them good.
Hey, fuck you! We are not going into my race car movies these days. We do it every goddamn week, and I'm always right.
Remember when race car movies were fun, like Smokey and the Bandit?
Oh, heck yeah.
Hey, Ford versus Ferrari was fucking dope.
Oh, I haven't seen
Cannonball
it. It's on my
Run.
watch list, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's great.
Hey, it's another car movie that's dope with Thor, the actor, Chris Hemsworth.
Oh,
they're Formula One racer. It's called something. Drive.
Knight Rider.
It's called Drive. Oh, Knight Rider was
Knight Rider. Drive.
Yeah,
no,
Drive. Wasn't
it was
called
not
Drive?
It's not Drive, and it's not Driven. Driven was the one with Stallone.
Oh, that was corny.
It was a one-word title, though.
Yeah. It was.
Hey, Knight Rider. Right, Knight Rider is the reason why I grow my hair out. Right?
It was called Rush.
Rush. Yeah.
You have chest hair?
Yeah, like what's that guy name?
Like into the
Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff. That's the reason.
Yeah,
why
but
I got
Hasselhoff on your chest.
Man, I got it thick like taco.
We didn't know
man.
that Jay's huge in Germany too.
Man,
big demographic.
Jay's huge.
Don't be
everywhere.
surprised. Don't be surprised in the next month you see a big giant Hasselhoff poster on my wall. I
like
idolize that
huh?
man.
He
Man,
has
I
the
love
Nick
Hasselhoff.
Fury one.
I still like Shatner. You know what I mean?
The
Yeah,
Shat.
Shatner was the king of the taco meat too. I like
A
that
happy
too.
Shatner Day.
See, that's when you're a man. When that taco meat is thick on your chest. That's
Remember when he used to do
testosterone.
Rescue 911? That show was great.
Damn.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. They don't make them like they used to anymore.
No, they don't have the gravitas anymore.
But to answer your question, Rest, she's white. Period. Point blank.
She is. Look at the cover of the second issue.
She's always been white. She was right next to Baxter Stockman. She's
Yeah.
white.
Look, it's very simple. She was a newscaster in the 1980s. She was white that tanned with a perm. That was every woman on the news.
Man, my mom had the worst perm you've ever seen. And her hair got so big, and then she had the roots with the blonde hair after a while. Ugh.
Jeez. You got
That's
pictures?
how women looked back in the day, though.
Yeah, those
wanna see
perms
pictures.
and those shoulder pads. Boy, oh
Yeah.
boy.
Oh,
Now,
It was
the
like Golden Girls is what
When
it
they
was.
go to
Your
church-
B. Arthur.
when they go to church, they had those shoulder pads. I remember that.
Oh, geez. I bet yours were at your church. It was probably the biggest shoulder pad.
Oh,
in the
it
What's
was-
world.
that supposed to mean?
It's like
You
the
know.
Chicago
you-
Bears offensive line.
You
there.
are absolutely right. I never understood what the freak was up with the shoulder pads, though. What did that mean?
it was a woman
It was
fashion
just,
thing in the 80s.
you know, before they used to wear corsets so that they had the hourglass figure, you know,
That's
shoulder
true.
pads were in.
I think
So
the
the
shoulder
shoulder
pads
pads
made
was
the
fu-
waist looks thinner or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. And I remember the coats that had them in there. You just take them out, replace, all that stuff.
You had those
All
big
right.
phones.
Well, since we've gone so far off topic, let's see what the people have to say. They have to chime in on this. Terrence Bernard, it's not canon, but I'm more understanding because April being black and is lore by Matt's misunderstanding compared to conscious choice or agenda.
That is a fancy comment.
like it.
I kind of agree. I think that most people are just like, yeah, that seems right. But
I
then
don't
you get
care
arguments.
that she's black
It's
in this movie or whatever. They could have made her look cool like she's supposed to.
I agree.
April-
And then people coming out and be like, she was always black. It's like, you are lying
Yeah,
to
that's
yourself,
weird.
Mark Brooks. You
This-
are an idiot.
This is just April O. Potato.
It's just eyebrow raising. It's like, I'm paying attention, but, who cares, ultimately?
She's shaped like a Chinese dumpling.
Yeah, sure.
And I guarantee Casey Jones has no interest in fucking her.
The weird thing is, well, I mean, I don't know how old they are in this one. Fuck the
Now.
turtle.
They're supposed to be like 16. I think even April's supposed to be 16.
Yeah, she looks pretty young.
That's just fucking
But Casey's
stupid.
pretty young, probably
is
then too.
Oh, she's 16 too?
I believe so.
That's
As
tough.
long as he's not 18, and then
Well, I
he's
hope Casey
grooming
comes
her.
in like
It's gonna
Matthew
be a whole thing.
McConaughey and Dazed and Confused and just, really
Like about
shits
these-
up the place.
Dude, I like it. I like it now.
That's it. Matthew McConaughey for Casey Jones.
Exactly.
All right, excellent.
All right.
That would be so good.
I keep getting older, and these high school girls stay the same age.
Colin
Oh,
Set
shit.
says rape swaps didn't end with White Stockman from the 2003 was also rape swapped into Asian 2012 series. Also, White Stockman had a ginger twin brother.
That sounds very stereotypical.
They also tried to make
making him a
Shredder white in that
scientist.
last movie with Michael Bay.
Yeah, didn't they have?
But when people found out about it, they got so mad they had to reshoot the movie and include that the guy that ends up being Shredder. That's the reason the white guy seems like he should be Shredder.
Ah.
He was
Those
originally the
movies suck,
Shredder
too.
guy.
Those
William
movies suck too.
Finchner.
Those
I was
Michael
gonna
Bay
say I'm
movies.
more excited about this animated film than I was either one of those live action films.
I thought the first one wasn't bad.
Hey, I'm just anytime I get to see Megan Fox sweaty and poorly
My goodness.
clothed, I'm fine.
Well, you watch any Michael Bay movie. She was in
Yes,
all of
I
them,
know.
right?
Until he decides she's too skinny and then fires her.
Frank Zaka says, happy Saturday, guys. I'm dropping Fantastic Four, Star Wars main series, Poison Ivy, and She-Hulk. Not sure how
Man.
these books keep getting
Why
worse.
were you reading any of them?
That's a
You
good
said
question, Doc.
Fantastic Four is a good
Yeah,
book. You
I mean-
recommended it.
I would agree with. Well, I haven't read any Poison Ivy. She-Hulk's unbearable, and I can't read Star Wars. But I just don't. I mean, I could understand it's kind of like it's not the stories that you want, but overall, the FF has been very passable. It's not dance.
When you're
line.
recommending a book because it's passable, lets you know something.
I'm reading
Well, I
all
think the
those,
art is
and
good.
yeah, Fantastic Four is the best of that crew there.
I mean,
Easily.
hey, drop comics. Don't get me wrong, and there's always something that's better. But
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't compare. I wouldn't put Fantastic Four in the same grouping Maybe if I was dropping other books, it would have a better slot. Is all I'm saying.
I think that the problem with these, and Fantastic Four you can't kind of bunch with, but a lot of the Star Wars, Poison Ivy, and She-Hulk, they're just going nowhere. They end up just meandering, and they really aren't. The Star Wars stuff really needs to kind of get to Return of the Jedi and get on with it. And the Poison Ivy's just changed directions of that tone of that book so much. Every time that it gets extended, it seems like the book changes to something else. It's very odd.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about Poison Ivy. Is I heard it was good up to like issue 6 or 7, and then it just like lost its way.
Yeah, I would say 4, but that's just my opinion. But it lost its way once it got extended.
Well, that's sad to hear because I know people were enjoying that one. Ideator says Mark Brooks is a redundancy for Eric Larson's stupidity when he isn't tweeting. Ginger Side is real. Companies are fan baiting in lieu of entertaining. Yeah, the fantagonism is real. And Mark Brooks is absolutely an idiot, just like Eric Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Just think he could be the world's most renowned wet comic book artist, but instead he's just an idiot on Twitter. What do you think about those wet comic book covers, Yule?
They're usually wraparound, so that's cool.
They're big.
I didn't like his Bishop on that X-Men #1. He looked lame. That was the worst thing that I've ever seen. Mark Brooks,
but he was glistening, correct?
Oh, it was horrible. It was like he was like came right out of the sauna or something like
Yes.
that. My favorite Mark Brooks covers was when he was doing those action figure variants for something with Valkyrie in it. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, Daughters of the Dragon or something like that.
He used to do those for all the Star Wars comics.
I preferred Mark Brooks when he was an actual penciler, and
when he always better.
That's what I was thinking. Mark Brooks
he
is
did.
an artist, ain't he?
He did Amazing Fantasy, where he introduced Irana. He did that Irana series. I mean, he was kind of a Roger Cruz, Joe Mad knockoff, but I liked him. He did Cable and Deadpool for a while. I liked him when he was that artist. When he became this wet painting cover guy, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is boring.
That's how I feel about Greg Land. He used to pencil things, and it was good
until he became a tracer.
He's always been a tracer. No, you got to read Birds of Prey. He used to pencil books, and he was good. And
Greg Land art, his women always do this.
No. Now
that was
now.
Hey, you know where that comes from? Do y'all know where that comes from?
Yes, I heard the porno.
Yeah, the women always make the face like this.
Yeah, because he traces porn. We all know that.
Yeah, but he didn't always. He used to be a good penciler.
Dylan Lindsay says, "Hello all, great show as usual. Just wanted to say that the 2003 TMNT show was great, but almost never hear anyone mention it. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it."
I like the TMT movie where they was fighting those statues. That was a good movie, animated movie. Remember that one? Of course, y'all don't.
It was the first one that was computer-generated animation, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good movie.
The rumor was that it was going to be like the original TMNT, and there was going to be blood and stuff, and then it turned out it was rated G.
Oh, that sucks. But it was still a good movie, though. It was good.
What do you think about this 2003 TMNT show, though?
Never watched
it. Was that dope? You're the TMNT guy.
Yeah, but I don't watch the cartoons. The cartoons are too cheesy for me to watch.
I have a couple of people who like the 2012 one, but I haven't watched it.
You don't like the 1990s TMNT cartoon?
No.
What?
Well, I know.
That's blasphemy. That's what kind of made the Turtles the Turtles.
You just said you don't watch the cartoons.
The comic book made.
I watched that when I was a baby. I'm talking about now, man. Come on.
Wait, 2003? Weren't you like 10 years old or something like that then?
Yeah, 2003.
Fatal J's like 55 years old. He just wears it well.
I was 17 in 2000.
He's got the Bobby Lashley headband right now. I love it. You know why he did that, right? He has alopecia and he sweats in his eyes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I thought you were saying that about Fatal J. I was like,
that's what I thought.
I meant Bobby Lashley.
How about alopecia? I got a handful of hair, man.
Damn, you're going for the jugular. I like it.
That's a merkin. He just
has a Doc move if I ever heard one.
On his head.
I rub off on people.
don't say stuff like that. Now that we're done with the
Sorry.
April O'Neil stuff, let's get into this Diamond Comics screwing comic shops. This has been a well-known secret throughout the comic book industry, Yule, that Diamond were upcharging on their shipping to pay for other stuff. They kind of got called out on it. Once they had new office spaces, they're going to reduce their shipping costs. And the response, I thought, was awful, to say, we're the only people investing in comic books, and we spend all your money on this. And almost all of it was either redundant, something someone else already does, or it was stuff that's their responsibility anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think, Yule?
Yeah, I think I don't have all my invoices from the years, and I'm not sure if Diamond's going to have them available for me to look at, but shipping's always been a real big pain. And like, you almost never really want to return things, even when they're available to be returned, because, you know, there's shipping involved. But Diamond has always been really expensive with UPS, and they never renegotiated any of the deals. They never did anything like that. Would have been like number one, and then forcing the companies to take books back would have been number two. And they didn't do those things. Like, of all the things that I wanted Diamond to do, they would never have done it. It took Brian Hibbs to like basically sue Marvel for the stores to get money back on, you know, on stuff. Diamond didn't pay attention or care about that stuff. You know, it's just stuff like that. There's an FOC, but it's not because of Diamond. It's because of Hibbs, you know, muckraking the way he does. And it just, they really haven't had it for us ever. They signed exclusive contracts with people. They couldn't get out of those contracts if they wanted to, if there was ever another distributor. I'm talking about companies. So those people were stuck in there, and it wasn't until the pandemic. And I think that I would guess that it was during that time when we really probably saw rates go up, or had a time to actually look at them, because, you know, it's been so onerous. And I'm looking at the ones that are going on right now, my invoices, and I'm not even sure if I'm actually really making money on the stuff that I buy from Diamond right now. It's more like, this is the stuff I use to, you know, it pads the, you know, some people, they'll buy Image Comics and stuff like that. They'll want to buy some Boom Berserkers, I think, coming out next week. You know, so there's that kind of stuff. But when you add in, so you get your, you know, usually it's about half off. And maybe a company you don't even get half off. And then you're like, okay, fine, if I sell everything, I'll make double of what I paid. And then you see the shipping, and it's like, well, wait a second, there is no profit here. So the only profit I really make is when I'm selling DC comic books, Marvel comic books, or I should say companies that Lunar and Penguin Random House distribute now. And it can't be, you know, and then all that other junk that they said that they do with the money that they get, that's some BS. Like you said, they already do it, or it's already being done. A locator finder. I heard two people. I had a guy come in yesterday because of this show. I had a person come in yesterday and the day before because of Google, and they did not look at comic store, you know, shop locator. They didn't care to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about that. If they don't know comic books still exist, they don't know that there's a comic shop locator. And you're going to just Google anymore. I mean, you'll only ever Google.
The comic shop locator was wonderfully useful up until about 2006, 2007, when like Google Maps started including business shit, like businesses in there, and they started crowdsourcing whether or not that business still existed. And they basically replaced both the comic shop locator, the fucking yellow pages, and your GPS and maps. Now they're all in one. You don't need a comic shop locator. If you're in your car, you open the fucking Maps app, be it Google Maps, Waze, Apple Maps, and just hit comic shop.
Yeah.
Type it in. It will literally find it for you.
Yep. And if there isn't one, it'll find the closest thing that's kind of like a comic shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me add one last thing, and then, you know, totally open it up, I'm sure. But UPS loved this pre-pandemic, loved the job that Diamond did for them so much that they made a statue and sent it to Diamond as a thank you.
Yeah, if that's the
Now
case,
that's a fuck you.
If that's the case, you know that everybody was getting just anally gaped by the shipping rates. I mean, just you needed a fucking plug to close that shit up when they were done.
Yeah, I've been talking about it on my show the last couple of weeks, and I was really happy that Wes was, that was the thing I got from Comics Pro, was that they were going to discount. And they said they're going to do 20% one month, 20% the next month. Does that mean it's going to be 40% going forward?
No, so
always,
that's
I don't know.
No,
I don't see that saying that. Is this just a 2 month? This is the night terrors of shipping decreasing. That's all.
This is one of the things I was going to comment on. Is like their math doesn't math, because they're like, we're going to end up giving you 40% discounts in your shipping. So starting in April, we're going to take a 20% discount, and then in June, from that, we're going to take another 20% discount. That is not 40%, guys. Just letting you know. So be prepared.
Be like 37.
I got a question. Is Diamond the only major distributor for comic books?
Well, they used to
Lunar
be, but now they are.
Random House are now.
Now they're the major distributor for Image Comics, Boom, and Frank Miller Presents only.
Yeah,
which is a good thing. What's the difference that you experience between Penguin Random House, Lunar, compared to Diamond?
The packaging is better, even with Penguin Random House, and sometimes they don't give a fuck. And it still ends up usually being better. And if it isn't, I let them know. They say destroy it, and they ship it to me again, sometimes equally horribly, but it's free. I don't have to buy 50 Marvel comics in the attempt, because all at once. Because I'm scared about the secondary restock shipping that I get from Diamond. So I can reorder without worrying about shipping costs. And the thing about Lunar is that if I do the shipping costs with them and on a reorder, it isn't added extra, so it's even nice there. But Penguin Random House, I can usually get DC stuff from there. Hopefully, Image will be opening up in trade through there, and I won't ever have to reorder from Diamond ever. And Diamond will be dead.
You think they're going to go out of business? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about going out of business, but they're not a comic book distributor if they keep talking about how much of their toys and their games and their other bullshit that they sell.
I think they sell that because it's associated with comic shops. They're selling that extra stuff to comic shops, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I also kind of wonder, like, if your store has more statues and pop vinyls than comic books, are you really going to a comic store?
You're a geek bodega.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's what Diamond is. And they're crowing about their previews magazine. I haven't looked at, now that I'm the only person working at the store, I haven't looked at a previews magazine for real, especially when I'm ordering for 7 months.
It's easy. You can find their solicits all digitally, like the entire thing. You don't need to print out a phone book.
On the shipping. You don't understand, Doc.
Yeah, I know.
I got charged so much for shipping this week, and I bought even more expensive free comic book day bags so I could promote their shit so that people will come to my store, but I'm paying for that all the way through. Those bags are more expensive than the ones I get from Uline. You know what I mean? It's the same count. It just says free comic book day. I have to pay for the shipping on those free comics, and we know that Diamond's been fucking us that whole time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm promoting your books. I bet Brian Hips gets a better discount on the shipping. I bet I guarantee Joe Field does when it's fucking free comic book day stuff. Guaranteed.
Here's the thing with that Diamond Previews catalog. The fucking yellow pages used to get delivered to my house for free. They didn't charge you for it. They didn't charge you to bring it to you. They just gave you, because they ate it out of the costs that you paid to fucking Ma Bell every month.
I got a small box. I got a small box one time, and it had Diamond's calendar in it. How much do you think I had to pay for that?
About
Like 40
$10
bucks.
Yeah, it was like, it was expensive. And the thing is when you open up Diamond's calendar, before I used to have Marvel comic that's coming out this month, and then on February that's some DC comic, and now they're showing that they have something to do with like a podcast. And it's like, holy hell, this is like, you got nothing going on. Like maybe there's a Boom comic, or it's a reprint of a Boom comic on this page from like years ago. Hey, everybody, Mech Cadet's coming back. Woo. It's just like, you got nothing. And Image is continuing to help prop them up. And I really think it's bad that these companies are doubling and even now tripling down with Diamond and re-upping. I mean, I don't like it.
So it was my understanding that Image is about to separate from Diamond.
We'll see. I mean, they keep talking a good fight. They keep saying the things that, I haven't seen anything that would suggest that yet. But
they definitely said 2.5, 3 years ago that they were committed to Diamond.
Yeah.
But, obviously things change over time. And if they have better offers from Penguin Random House and Lunar, and why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I remember that during the pandemic, they was talking about staying with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even McFarlane came out and supported Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I think it just sucks that in all likelihood, shipping fees from retailers who are working on margins that are razor thin paid for Steve Geppe's museum.
Oh man, that's another thing. And again, that was years and years ago, and it went bankrupt. Or I don't know, a Gemstone or whatever he owned. I mean, you can say that having a museum is good for the business. You could say continuing Gladstone was.
It wasn't
good
the
for
Comic Book
business.
History Museum. It was the Geppe Museum for a reason.
Yeah,
because it was for him.
Yeah,
it was a monument to himself.
I mean, you got balls. You want to show them sometimes.
Hey,
but you don't take it out of your business partners who are struggling.
We all
it usually happens anyway, regardless of the business.
If we go historical, we all know who was involved in the magazine and comic distributing business back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they all had a little bit of inflated egos for themselves.
Yeah, sure.
But I actually heard from somebody that used to work for, Gemstone Publishing. They saw my video and they sent me an email. They're like, it was a well-known secret within the office that we weren't getting paid at the time, so he could fund his museum.
Oh,
they were paying him late.
Yeah, Gladstone was, that was a Jeppy. Hey guys, just to let you know, when I worked as a comic store employee in Southern California, that was a Capitol store. And I had Capital neighbors, and I knew the glad handing guy from that area, and I'm a Capital guy, and it was a shame what happened. Still blame Marvel. I don't blame Jeppe or Diamond for getting in the situation that they were in, but they didn't do anything to really help stores that weren't important.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Yep. I didn't like the response. I thought it was lowbrow and not really taking any responsibility when they basically had their gotcha moment.
When he was doing the rounds on YouTube shows, it was like a mob boss.
Hey, as I said, we know who ran those business back in that day. It's not that far off. Look, I want to know who at that company approved that speech at Comics Pro and didn't see this backlash coming. That's what I want to know. Are they really? I know, but are they really, really that tone deaf to not realize that anyone with two firing neurons was going to put together hey, by the way, our obscenely, we're cutting costs for this, so it's going to save you money on this other thing that you pay for? If nobody saw how that was immediately going to get connected, they're fucking retarded and should be fired.
But it's just like the DC executives. They've been believing their own bullshit for too long. Like they've said something so much for so many years that they believe it. It's that this is not in common with corporations. I hate to tell you.
I know.
To give you a little bit of hope, I know that Larson and Valentino met with Lunar at ECCC.
Oh, really?
So,
All right.
Just throwing that up there.
Yeah, I mean, he's
He's the CFO.
yeah,
CFO and
he is.
VP. Yeah.
That's good. Good to know. Yeah, Comics Pro. I haven't ever really done that. I mean, there was a time when I went to Comics Pro, but I was not an owner of a store. I'm less than enamored with going, especially out to the East Coast or where
Fuck
Jeff
you, it was in
is.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
this time. I mean, usually it's not East Coast, but to me, it's like
Fucking Yinzers,
almost
you know
all the
what
way
they do
on
with
the
them.
other side of the country. Usually,
We should have had Doc in there as a correspondent,
yeah, for sure, that would have been
What were we
awesome.
thinking, Doc?
I mean,
That was a
I
missed
could have
opportunity.
I know. I didn't even realize it was going on until it had already started. I would have gone.
No.
But,
Sexier than April O'Neil.
This would have.
Fuck yeah.
We bought you a Thinking Critical shirt. You could have shown up there as a live correspondent.
Yeah. I think it would have been awesome to go to this one, but I know there was like a lot of comic stores there that are still just,
The only thing I would have avoided,
the
like
dick.
the plague, is a bad idea. I am so done with that publisher. All that they try to do was viral marketing, and it's so lame. It's a bunch of grandpas trying to do viral marketing. It blows.
It is stupid as hell. I go to another comic store because I don't want to deal with them, but there's a book that had Tony Millionaire art in it. I had to get it.
What happened to Dinesh? Grow up, man.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness. We do have a few super chats. Outrun YGO says, big fan, yo. Well, thank you very much. I'm a big fan of you. I really appreciate the support. HH and the boys from Sigma Comics. Shout out to the Thinking Critical team. Can't say anything about Diamond yet. We'll see. But you should start carrying Here Comes Calico, available at shop soon.
All right. Excellent.
Man, shout out to Sigma for always doing the promoting, man.
I know. I love it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it too,
Yeah.
man.
Well, yeah, man. Either contact at fantasticcomics.com, something like that. Give me we'll invoice or something. We'll do something.
HH lives by the ABCs. You know what I mean? Always
Be closing.
Absolutely. Very nice. So congratulations to HH. I know they got a big promotion going on. And well, that'll be the show. Let's talk about some comic book recommendations. Obviously, I'll be talking to Drew in about, 4 hours and 15 minutes here on the channel. We'll have the video up talking about our recommendations this week. I can tell you right now, our list is light. It's shorter than normal. You have a comic book shop. You've got 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. You're the hottest man in comic books today.
Right.
Are you recommending any comic books? And do you have anything people should be looking out for?
So Jeff Lemire's new book, Phantom Road, Gabriel Walta is on the art, and it looks like a cool horror book. I enjoyed the first issue. Blood Tree by Tomasi, another image book. So, I'm only making a couple bucks on these at best. Is very good. It's a detective. People are being killed. There's angel wings being sewed on their backs, and it's interesting. If you like a procedural, it's a cool comic. And just get these first issues that are coming out from these companies if you have an interest in them, because there's got to be something that you should check out. Back issues are cool, of course. I'm sure Doc's going to be talking about a couple. And most importantly, if you care about reading comics, think about not slapping them. I'm really against CGC more and more these days. And at the store, I know I'm losing money, not only on Diamond because of shipping, but also because I'm not willing to put something in a hard plastic case and double, sometimes triple, or as I saw at the convention that I was at a week ago, like quadruple the price of what the comic actually should have been. And it's just not cool to the customer that's trying to get into it. And, the people that really care about these things and don't just want to stick it only on their wall.
That's the
So who
first
do you
time I've
dislike
ever
more?
heard that.
Who do you dislike more, you old CGC or Diamond?
Diamond, probably CGC. I've not liked them ever since the beginning.
That's the first time I ever heard somebody say that. That's
well,
very interesting.
It inflates the price in a way that really shouldn't be, and also it fetishizes the comic book and puts an importance on a grade rather than what we really want to see within our comics, people reading them.
Yeah, because you know what? I don't have any slabs because I like to look at it. Like,
Yeah, man.
Well, you're
Like-
also poor like me.
Well, I mean, I understand.
well, I don't
Look,
trust CGC either.
I'm lucky enough to get stuff at the store and have stuff in the back that you might not have in your own home. But, you know, a comic the thing I like about a comic book is that the cover is like it's like a little art piece. And when people are doing more and more digital artwork, this is actually the only physical manifestation of that art that's available with all the other ones that are produced. But even still, I'm not a big fan of grading and putting more importance on it because of something that a store can do also. You know, a store should be able to grade your comics. You don't need some plastic bullshit from somebody that doesn't even have a store anymore. That makes more money when they grade something more expensive higher. Think about that.
That's
Is that
Very nice.
That's very interesting, man.
I'm done.
We've also
Thank
got
you.
Jim from Weird Science. Apparently, you checked out of the conversation, Jim.
That's what they were saying. I just didn't want to, ruin the flow.
I just like hearing your voice because you sound like Stan Lee.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, I was sitting here listening. I was enjoying. I'm commenting. I ended up. I was being accused last time of ending up having Tourette's. I was a little sensitive for that, so I didn't want to just throw things in. But yeah, I'm still here. I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm going to suggest Flash is what I'm going to suggest as my main deal. And again, it's sad that Jeremy Adams is leaving the whole deal, but it's good to support him as he goes out with the 1 Minute War.
Well, don't just support Jeremy Adams on the Flash. Support Jim and the guys at Weird Science Comics.
Oh.
They've got a Patreon where you get exclusive content on there, and they've got more podcast hours of content than you could possibly imagine.
Yes, sir.
Every single week.
More than I can imagine. I'm telling you, I'm an old man. It's too much. But no, we have our DC Marvel manga podcast. We have like 9 manga.
And your YouTube
Can't talk
channel's
now.
kind of taken off.
Yeah, you told me to start doing some videos, so what the hey? I ended up throwing
Okay, how
those
can I
out
get
there
into
as well.
this manga podcast? How can I subscribe?
You just look up Weird Science manga, and you'll see all the different ones. We have reading clubs each day of the week, and then 2 big main podcasts. So yeah, check them out.
Okay, cool.
Man, Fatal J is just learning stuff left and right. Fatal
Yeah,
J,
really.
can we learn what you want to recommend this week?
I recommend Nemesis 2, and since you guys have
It's
been
Nemesis Reloaded.
Nemesis Reloaded is dope. Now, since you guys have been gracious to me and invited me back on the show, and the chat hasn't been too rough on me, I'm going to give y'all a quick little sneak peek of what's going to be inside Ninja Blast 2. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I'm on the count to 10, and then you guys will never see it again until you buy the comic. 1, 2, 3. That's
10.
That's right.
All right, Fatal J, give us a 60-second short for the channel.
Yeah. Hey, man, have you seen this show? It's real good. And if you don't like it, you suck. Bye.
Man, that was the shortest short I've ever seen in my life. You got anything going on your channel besides shorts that people need to be aware about?
Pretty soon I'm about to be done with the shorts. I'm going to get into doing more things like news commentations, reactions. I'm going to start doing a lot of reactions on my channel. So it's coming. I've just been a lazy, fat slob lately and not
I've
wanting
been
to do
sick
long
for
form.
5 weeks.
You too? What is going on?
It's been very difficult for me to get stuff out. I can't hear out of my right ear.
Me and my wife have been coughing up yellow stuff for 5 weeks now. What does that mean? Are we dying?
Yes.
We're always
It means
dying.
go to the fucking doctor.
I did. It's still
We
here,
did
man.
that. We did it.
Kids went to the doctor. Wives went to the doctor. Oh, my goodness.
Mucinex. Mucinex.
I'm
will
taking
dry that shit
Flomicil,
up.
and it's making it worse.
Real quick,
And,
real fast. So Frank Miller Presents, is he already dropping comic books?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the Didio Ancient Enemies, I think it's called.
Well, I'm looking
And
forward to
then-
that Ronin.
Oh, Ronan's had 2 issues so far, and he's
What?
also writing one called Pandora.
Okay, I'm gonna have to buy that. Wes, thank you so much for introducing me to mycomicshop.com because that's definitely where I buy my stuff now. eBay is terrible. I'll never buy from eBay again. I paid $7 for a Jim Lee #1. Please don't talk about me.
MyComicShop.com is a good place if you're looking for very specific comics with a lot of variety. They got almost everything there.
You know what
Hey,
they don't
they should
have?
pay me to be pitching that. What are they?
You know what they don't have is Heavy Metal #9, which I just priced up yesterday.
Well, they also don't have the personalized customer service that you'll get from Fantastic
right.
Comics in Berkeley, California.
That's right.
Speaking of which, you and I need to have a conversation about
right.
some
Goblin
see if we
Set
can work
says,
something out.
All right.
you heard IDW's comic TMNT versus Street Fighter. It gave me an idea of a pitch: Street Sharks versus Tekken. You watch the Street Sharks because I didn't watch it.
I love Street Sharks. I love Street Sharks. I was like the Ninja Turtles.
Okay, yeah.
Would you read Street Sharks versus Tekken?
I probably would. You know, back in the era when everybody was trying to copy Ninja Turtles, Street Sharks was good. Biker Mice was good too. Remember Biker Mice?
Yep.
From Mars, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Biker Mice from Mars.
Or is that Commies from Mars?
Street Sharks versus Tekken reminds me of the Go bots will show up there soon too. It's all
Yeah.
the
What was
Well, there
another one?
was.
The Jet Cats, wasn't it the Wild Cats or something when they was in a jet? That was good too, with the two cats in the jet. Y'all remember that one?
All right, this is going nowhere fast. Thank you very much for Common Sense, everyone, for supporting the channel. I know you've been busy, Josh, but I think your life is calming down a little bit. Did you have time for the nerd funny books this week?
This week I have not. My life will not calm down until the end of this month. But I'll tell you what I plan on buying. I'm going to try to sneak to my comic shop before work this afternoon. I'm getting Deadly Duo. I'm getting Blood Ties. I'm getting Flash. That's all I plan on buying.
I thought you said butt ties for a second. I was like,
I'm not that gay.
Yeah.
No,
I
come
don't know
on.
what butt
now.
ties are, but it sounds fantastic.
Also, I love Jay's ability with numbers. You know, you tell him to give a 10-second short, he gives you a 3-second. You mention
Keeps you
a
wanting.
60-second, he gives you a 10-second. Like, it's good times. Good times with Fatal
Nobody
Jay.
loves Fatal J. That's why he's the most
Oh.
homicidal YouTuber in the world.
SWAT Cats, the chat that's called SWAT Cats. Y'all never heard of SWAT Cats? That was a good show.
I haven't heard of SWAT Cats. I can confirm that Street Sharks is being pitched to a publisher, though. So
Oh,
you might
very
see some
nice.
Street Sharks soon.
If you are looking for Fatal J, Weird Science, Jim's, or Yule's YouTube channels, there is a link in the video description if you want to go find them. If you can't find them on your own, it should be easy enough. Doc, you read Avengers 66 this week. Are you going to
What's your
recommend?
favorite?
No, I'm going to recommend that you
Stay away from that.
do literally anything else except for read that comic book. I'm talking absolutely anything else, including getting lost in a well for 3 weeks.
All right, Doc.
That is an
Daddy's got to eat
improvement.
some chicken nuggets. I'm pretty hungry.
All right, so I do have some recommendations this week. I'm going. It's all old comics. All right, so
Are
we're
they
going to
all
go with
slab?
Soul
Soul
Saga.
Saga, which was a fun little. It actually only got 5 issues. I think there was a 6 issue that only got released in like France.
That's
for-
Splat, right?
Yeah, it was Stephen Platt and Christian Lichtner. It was before they split up and stopped working together. But yeah, it was Stephen Platt. It was kind of like his Battle Chasers.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun, and I mean, hot women. So and Jack dudes.
Ooh, that's good.
This
It's
Sleeper.
the best.
Sleeper was it's literally a sleeper hit. It's fucking awesome. Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, back in their Wildstorm days before they even moved over to Marvel, doing a like Black Ops style undercover agent infiltrating a super criminal gang.
So good, people.
It is.
It's the best.
It really is. It for a while, I think fucking Matt Damon and Ben Affleck had the rights to do the movie, and then it just never got made. But it was really good. There's a lead-in series to it. It's a 5-issue miniseries called Point Blank that actually kind of really connects it to the Wildstorm universe. But if you're not a Wildstorm fan, you can literally just jump in on Sleeper. You don't need to know anything else.
This is it. This is the book that put Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips forever
map.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they put them on the map and put them together forever. This was the beginning of their.
They got
partnership.
burial plots next to each other too, I think.
I think at this point, yeah. They did 2 seasons of it. They did 2 12-issue stories, Sleeper and Sleeper Season 2. Now this is a good, fun little 4-issue miniseries. It's from about 2002 called Area 52. Think about that giant warehouse at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark with all that crazy shit that gets, except for done much, much better than the opening scene of Indiana Jones 4, where they use that warehouse. Except for it's in Antarctica and they're all trapped and then the power goes out. So all kinds of crazy shit starts happening. So it's good fun. Brian Haberlin and Clayton Henry, who I believe, in my opinion, is very, very underrated artist. I really like Clayton Henry's work. And then finally, we got some old school.
Oh, that's nice.
This is my spare copy, but I ended up kind of taking receipt of an old box of comics for basically free, and I found a good number of gems in there, including a Hulk 180, a ASM 194,
that's right.
Marvel Team Up 95, and a half dozen X-Men books from about issue 100 through 120. They're just reader copies, but this is my bonus copy.
Why is my heart pumping like I was about to get a Doc face reveal?
Because you saw Doc's background, and he does live inside of a comic shop.
You're never going to be able to buy anything from
But my heart was pumping because he was showing so many cool comics, and then I thought the last one was like, and this is the real.
If you watch the last live stream, he does allow a 4-second face reveal.
Because I completely didn't realize my camera was on.
Yeah. And I do want to give a shout out to AL, who's having Korean fried chicken today.
Oh, that
and
sounds
someone
wonderful.
that's been around the world and lived in Korea. That is the best fried chicken you will ever eat in your life.
That sounds
absolutely amazing. They put so much of the garlic salt. That's what does it.
Wes, I'm coming over there, man. Just get ready.
I'm not in Korea. I'm in the Philippines.
I know. I want you to show me around, man.
Wait, so AL's having that? AL, send me your fucking recipe, dude.
I think she's going to a restaurant potentially.
Okay. Well,
send me their recipe.
Yes, send me their recipe then.
Now look, I don't want to be a stereotypical guy, but I'm a fried chicken connoisseur. And I've been a few places outside of the United States and tried their fried chicken. So now you have
Canada doesn't count, Fatal J.
Well, I've been to Jamaica. I want to go to Canada.
That's jerk chicken. It's completely different.
Yeah.
I'm allergic
Jamaican
to garlic,
jerk
so I'm
chicken.
screwed.
Jerk chicken is wonderful, though.
Dude, that sucks.
All right, fellas. Daddy is
getting hungry.
So am I.
You're making me fucking hungry, too.
Take a leak. So thank you very much to everybody for supporting the channel. Hope you had a good time. I'm glad Dwayne Muth made the live chat for the first time. I hope you come back next weekend because we will be here next Saturday to talk more geek stuff with y'all.